4th of July weekend in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. It's 103 degrees outside. It's cool and comfortable inside Chase Field, where the Diamondbacks last night were able to hang on for a win to even this series in a game apiece. The win got Arizona back to 500. The Diamondbacks try to remain in the postseason discussion, but facing the team with the second best record in baseball behind the Dodgers. It's the Milwaukee Brewers and Tim Dillard. Here's their starting lineup.
Bryce Terang at the top of that order. Jackson Chourio batting second. Christian Yelich, who homered in last night's game, batting third. Andrew Vaughn, the cleanup man, will be over at first. Jake Bauers, the other first baseman, he's going to be in right field. Garrett Mitchell in center. Gary Sanchez pushing the buttons for Brandon Sproat. David Hamilton at third base and Joey Ortiz at shortstop.
Pat Murphy's Brew Crew comes in here, 6 up on the Cubs atop the National League Central Division, but they're up against the veteran left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez for Arizona, an all-star this year for the first time in his career, 7-2, and that 2.21 earned run average is 4th best among all major league starters.
Yeah, the 33 years young Eduardo Rodriguez, the southpaw, he's using a little bit of everything this season. The four-seam fastball has been good. He sprinkles in the sinker, but that four-seam fastball, changeup, curveball combo, batters hitting under 200. I think the Brewers are going to see a lot of those in this game. And let's check out that defense for the Diamondbacks as well. Highlighted here by Gabriel Moreno, Gold Glove winner. The guy's caught a ton of baseball games. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to navigate. And if you have a battery like this right here, you know that they're going to be hitting their spots and trying to work through this order as quickly as possible.
Milwaukee out front atop the National League Central. Gabriel Moreno's Diamondbacks second in the National League West. They're behind the division-leading Dodgers and ahead of San Diego, currently 4 out of the wild card spot. Nestor Ceja, our plate umpire, calling balls and strikes. And here we go, the rubber game from downtown Phoenix. Diamondbacks and the Brewers. Bryce Terang leads it off for Milwaukee. Not a lot of velocity from Erod, but he spots that fastball extremely well. Terang, 269, a dozen homers. He's hit safely in 7 straight. Does not hit left-handers especially well. If there's one weak spot for Terang, he did not go, says Chris Guccione at third. It's a 185 batting average against left-hand pitching this year. Here you can see the splits. Here's that sinker, got him by him, and it's 1-2. Terang has a pair of 3-hit games in this series. He has doubled twice, scored twice. He's knocked in 2 runs. As Erod runs that one inside. Changeup has been an excellent pitch for him. Couldn't get Terang to bite, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, the left-on-left changeup, especially coming after a sinker. If that's kind of how he's been pairing against lefties, if that's what happens for this game, Brewers have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, Milwaukee's lineup can lean a little lefty heavy at times. Top 4 in the majors against right-hand pitching, but more mid-table when facing left-handers. Terang's run the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes with Chourio on deck. And Terang, as he always seems to do, has a base hit against the Diamondbacks. And as we get a look, Tim Dillon, to what Erod has to offer the Brewer batters here today.
Yeah, four-seam fastball, changeup, cutter, curveball. But we're starting to see a little bit of dip in the sinker as of late. Again, highlighting the four-seam fastball, changeup, and possibly curveball. Batters hitting under 200 against that. And he's had 2 games to watch the Brewers lineup and how they function. For that, that's about all you need for a veterano like Rodriguez to put his game plan together going into today.
StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Here's the youngster Jackson Chourio. Terang runs well, 13 for 16 in his stolen base attempts, and that's a swing and bunt that trickles foul. Chourio checks in at 293, a dozen homers. 22-year-old star for the Brewers. He homered last night in the 9th inning off Arizona closer Paul Sewald after checking in late for last night's game. The home run for Chourio is 3rd in the last 8.
Yeah, you're looking at numbers too, where he's missed about a month of the season, and he has come back on a tear.
Terang holds for now. Chourio Suffered a broken left hand at the end of March, missed their first 33 games this year. And a slow month of May coming off the broken hand, but boy, he is heating up, hitting .313 since June 1st. Vargas at second, playing up the middle. There's room on the right side of the infield for Chourio. And he hits it that direction, foul. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how teams are going to play defense against Jackson Chourio. The guy uses all fields. A lot of times if it's fastballs, it's going to be to right field. Something off speed, he'll end up pulling it. But again, he goes line to line. That's why he's so tough to try to guard.
Particularly against left-handers. He's hitting over .320 versus lefties this year. Chased the high fastball, and Erod has his first strikeout.
Yeah, so after several changeups, finally goes to the fastball above the zone, and ask any hitter, this is what you want. Unable to get to it, swings underneath.
Fastball command has been pinpoint for Eduardo Rodriguez this year. Now he deals with another left-on-left matchup. After Turang had the base hit, it's Christian Yelich. Yelich third against the lefty, the DH, 246 and 6 homers. He homered here last night. Into the pool area here at Chase Field, out in right center. Eduardo Rodriguez, difficult to beat in this ballpark. 9 Chase Field starts this year. He is 5-1 and has a home ERA of 1.78. He has been outstanding this year at All-Star for the first time. 2-0 on Yelich. Turang still holding at first. And is foul at first. Rodriguez on a roll right now for Arizona. 7 innings of 1-run ball against the Angels, his 100th career win. Followed that with 6 2/3 scoreless at St. Louis. Then here last Monday, beat the Giants 7 innings, gave up just 1 run.
Yeah, coming off back-to-back quality starts. That's really what he's been doing all season long, is just quality.
Yelich fights this one off, backpedaling it short is Perdomo, and that's out number 2. Yeah, Erod and Michael Soroka, who's injured right now, have been carrying the ball certainly for this Diamondback rotation. They hope to have Soroka back sometime soon. Andrew Vaughn in the cleanup spot, first baseman for the Brewers. Having a tremendous year, .328. He's homered twice. Rodriguez trying to strand that leadoff single by Turang, who's still down there at first. Vaughn does not have a hit in this series. 0 for 3 with a walk in his start at first base last night. His first full season with Milwaukee, acquired middle of June last year for the White Sox.
Batted over 300, had a lot of RBIs. Big reason they were able to make a deep run into that playoffs.
Along the line in right, long way to go for Corbin Carroll, and he's got room. So Eduardo Rodriguez strands Turang. Diamondbacks coming up from downtown Phoenix. Welcome back to Star Spangled Sunday on Peacock, presented by Ford. Diamondbacks have their big weapon at the top of the lineup, Tim Dillard. It's Ketel Marte, the DH this afternoon.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of S's in here. The switch hitters, 3 of those. Marte, you got Perdomo right after him. Corbin Carroll, the 3-time All-Star now, will be batting third. Moreno will be the cleanup guy. Gurriel Jr., who's had a couple of big plays and hits in this series already, being left. Vargas at second base. That's why Marte doing the DH, and Tawa recently called up. He's at third.
And Marte leads it off for the Diamondbacks against the right-hander Brandon Sproat, who gets the start for the Brewers in this rubber game of the 3-game set. Sproat acquired for the Mets in the Freddie Peralta deal in January, coming off wins in his last 2 starts, both against Cincinnati.
I think a lot of this game for Sproat is going to be tied to filling the ball up in the zone. I think early on for him it was the walks. That's why you see kind of a high walk rate, but that has since calmed down and the strikeouts have gone up.
He has been impressive. That's chopped foul off the bat of Marte. Marte leads the Diamondbacks in hits, homers, and RBIs. He singled twice and stole a base in the opener here Friday. 0 for 3 with a walk last night. who chased that one out there. Diamondbacks with their win last night got back to 500. They are currently 4 games out of a National League wild card spot. Perdomo on deck, then it's Corbin Carroll, the All-Star. 2-2 on Ketel Marte. That one almost hit him.
Well, talking to Torey Lovullo, manager for the Diamondbacks, he was talking about this could possibly be usually a day off for Marte. But he really wanted to be in the lineup, really wanted to DH. I think it has a lot to do with trying to get the team back over 500.
Yeah, as Torey Lovullo told us this morning, Marte is situationally aware of his importance to this ball club. He is the engine that makes things go. The fact that over the last 6-8 weeks he's been DHing when before he would take the full day off from second base when he wasn't playing defensively. And he has consistently been in their lineup, which Torey said is a signal that he's feeling good and is in a really good spot physically. Always a concern at this elevation. That's bounced to second for Turang. And Sproat has his first out as we get a look around the diamond, Tim, at the Brewers defense.
Absolutely. Jackson Churio out in left, Garrett Mitchell in center, Jake Bowers in right, and around the infield Hamilton, Ortiz, Turang, Vaughn, and Gary Sanchez will be pushing the buttons for Sproat. They've had a good working relationship. Bryce Turang, the former Platinum Glove winner, out at second base. Look for him to do more of what he just did, catching some of these ground balls and pop flies off the Diamondbacks bats.
And Turang offensively has been a Diamondback killer. William Contreras, their leading hitter, getting the off day. A rare off day for Contreras as Perdomo fouls off a fastball. 99 from Sproat, and it's 0-1. Here's Contreras, an all-star this year for the Brewers. Sal Frelick, a left-hander, also getting the day off.
Well, sometimes day off is loosely used in that Brewers dugout. They start off maybe with a t-shirt on or a hoodie, but they end up having a uniform and getting big at bats. They like to throw guys out there.
Diamondbacks play very much the same way. They use the whole roster.
That's what I love about these kind of series is we got 2 scrappy clubs that in a lot of ways are very the same, and you don't know what you're going to see inning to inning because a lot of teams don't play this way.
And they have some recent postseason history. Diamondbacks won the series against Milwaukee 3 years ago when they went to the World Series, won the National League pennant. 3-1 on Perdomo with Corbin Carroll, the All-Star, on deck.
Yeah, a lot of teams out there just go and they go find their guy that's going to play this position and pay them this amount of money, and they're going to bat here in the order, and you Sharpie everything in.
Well, Perdomo got a 3-1 fastball trying to hit it to Mesa, and it's full 3-2.
Well, anytime you get in a hitter's count, you got to let it eat. This is where hitting coaches are going, yeah, this is what you do. Don't get cheated.
Yeah, he did not. So back-to-back full counts for Sproat ahead of Corbin Carroll. A lot of fastballs here to Perdomo, 4-seamers and cutters. And Perdomo splits the gap. He's on the run. It's in left center, and it gets all the way to the wall. Geraldo Perdomo with a 1-out double. That's a typical Perdomo at bat. 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches. He'll foul off some 2-strike pitches and goes the other way to left center.
Well, this is the lowest pitch in the entire at bat. Everything else up in the zone. Fastball below the zone. Perdomo stays on it. Good piece of hitting, getting it into the gap. That is his now 100th double of his career.
100 career doubles for the Diamondbacks shortstop. He's in scoring position for Corbin Carroll. Runners in scoring position has not been a strength of the Diamondback ball club this year at times. Sproat misses in at 99. Carroll yesterday named a National League All-Star for the 2nd consecutive season. And the 3rd time in the last 4 years. The numbers are down a bit, though. 266 with 13 homers.
Yeah, down numbers for him, but I bet anyone across baseball would take those numbers in a heartbeat. 40 extra base hits. That puts him in a pretty elite club towards the top 10.
Leading the major leagues in triples. This is a tremendous triples ballpark. Sproat so far more balls than strikes. Teams have consistently the last several weeks worked Corbin Carroll up with fastballs. They have elevated the heat against him. And very often he has swung and missed. In fact, he has struck out 15 times in his last 38 at bats. And the batting average has been going backwards the last couple of weeks. Now the 2-1. Broken bat along the line, and that one drops in fair. Perdomo coming home. Corbin Carroll into second, and it's 1-0 Arizona. Back-to-back one-out doubles.
Might have been a broken bat on that one. This is a cutter inside on the hands. Corbin Carroll turns on this. How in the world does he keep it fair? Well, he knew it. He was running out of the box. Scores a run on back-to-back doubles. Great job by Jake Bauers out in right. If he fumbles that even a little bit, you know Corbin Carroll will be standing on third.
He is always full speed out of the box in this ballpark, Corbin Carroll. Gabriel Moreno, the catcher, bats in the cleanup spot. A 1-0 lead for Arizona. Moreno, 3 hits in this series. He has scored twice, knocked in a run. 286 and 6 homers on the year. It's Moreno on an Arizona club with Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll, who has been by far the Diamondbacks' most consistent hitter going back as far as the middle of May. He has really been the anchor in this lineup. 2-out single in the first inning last night set up the Adrian Del Castillo 3-run homer. That was Arizona's biggest hit in their win last night.
Had 2 hits in game 1, both to the right side of the field. That's kind of his approach. Right field, center field, hits inside of the baseball.
In Arizona, we call that Gabby Lane, that space between the first baseman and the second baseman. Moreno has a special knack for knocking it through there on the ground into right center. And you can see Vaughn playing well off the bag at first. Trying to close down Gabby Lane. Sinker runs away. Sprout having trouble throwing strikes. It's 3-1. It's his third 3-ball count to 4 batters with Gurriel on deck. So far 21 pitches, only 10 strikes. Cutter's in there for strike 2. Brandon Sproat, 25-year-old right-hander, still qualifies as a rookie this year. As we mentioned, Sproat's last 2 starts have been very encouraging. A career high 10 strikeouts at Cincinnati 2 starts ago. Followed that with another win over the Reds, this time in Milwaukee. That was last Tuesday. Just 2 runs allowed in 5 1/3.
Well, had a 5 ERA in April, 5.5 in May, but in June it was different. 3.5. Started to put things together.
Off to a bumpy start here. Back-to-back doubles with 1 out, followed by a walk to Moreno, who consistently has more walks than strikeouts, and a chance now for Lourdes Gurriel. Chris Hook, the pitching coach, time to pay a visit out there. Brandon Sproat in some trouble, having a bumpy start.
I think Chris Hook's going to come out and say we're going to need more strikes. I think he's a little bit irritated. The sweeper off the plate away for ball 4. You got to go right after a guy. And I think pitching coaches see that. They're seeing the sequences a lot more than most. And probably just want to have a conversation.
Yeah, Moreno has been a very patient hitter up there so far. Brandon Sproat, more balls than strikes. A chance for Gurriel, who bats 5th.
Well, collectively, this Diamondbacks lineup not aggressive on the first pitch. They see it a lot. They see it almost as many times as anyone in baseball. And the guys that will swing, Corbin Carroll, he's on second. He'll ambush. And Gurriel as well. He'll take his shots.
With Gurriel particularly in this lineup, pitch selection is crucial. Carroll dancing off first, and there's the sweeper that lands for a strike. Gurriel goes through stretches where he's very much, too often in fact, a free swinger. But when he's patient and waits for his pitch, he can do a lot of damage. Walked and scored in the opener Friday, singled as a pinch hitter leading off the 8th last night. That created the run that turned out to be the difference in Arizona's 4-3 win. Runs the sinker in at 99, nearly hit him. And a long first getting longer for Brandon Sproat. Pitch number 26 coming up. He's only recorded 1 out. Pina power here at Chase Field. Purple hair for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Most things Lourdes wears are purple, including his hair. He's got a purple car. He's got a purple duffel bag, purple hair, purple shoes, pads, the whole thing.
Purple car.
Yeah, he's got a purple car. It's on the players' lot right now. It's always purple. Star Spangled Sunday here on Peacock. Diamondbacks the early lead over the Brewers. Rubber game of the 3-game set. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Jammed him that time. Swing and bunt. Sanchez is on it. Runners move up and Sproat gets his 2nd out.
We have seen on both sides already in this game heaters in. A lot of jam jobs. This one, Gurriel trying to get the barrel of the bat to the ball, but just barely taps it. We've seen some broken bats in this one, but I think we're seeing 2 pitchers that feel comfortable throwing heaters in right now.
Ildemaro Vargas, the start at second base. First pitch swing and bounces it to Terang. And Sprout really has to labor, but he strands too. Corbin Carroll, the RBI double. It's 1-0 Arizona. Back with you from Phoenix on this Star-Spangled Sunday on Peacock. Geraldo Perdomo and Corbin Carroll back-to-back first-inning doubles and an early lead for the left-handed all-star Eduardo Rodriguez, who faces right fielder Jake Bauers to lead off the Brewers' second. Bauers leads Milwaukee in home runs, RBIs, and OPS, starting today for his 3rd different spot in 3 games in the series. He was at first base Friday, left field last night, right field today. Lines this to right field, right at Corbin Carroll. And that's 4 in a row retired by Eduardo Rodriguez. This was Torey Lovullo in the Diamondback clubhouse yesterday afternoon.
It's a first-time All-Star. He's been at this game a long time. He's our left-handed pitcher, Eduardo.
Eduardo Rodriguez and Corbin Carroll named Diamondback All-Stars yesterday as Garrett Mitchell lines this to center. The rookie Tommy Troy is there. And that's quickly 2 outs in the second. Torey Lovullo and Eduardo Rodriguez go back a long, long way. Torey was a longtime member of the Red Sox coaching staff when Erod pitched in Boston. They've been reunited here in Arizona, and that really was a special moment for the D-back skipper.
Yeah, hearing him talk about how they've been involved since he was 19 years old, Eduardo Rodriguez, and then the middle part of his career he was gone, and now he's back into the fold. And Lovullo was almost getting choked up talking about it. Says one of the top moments he'll remember, being able to announce him as an all-star.
Those connections to his players very important for Torey Lovullo. So Erod, talk about a shutdown inning. He's got 2 outs on just 3 pitches. And here's Gary Sanchez, his first appearance in this series. Behind the plate today for the Brewers. There's a strike at its 0-1. Sanchez 215, 8 homers in his return to Milwaukee this year. Seems, Tim, like it's a good mix behind the plate for Milwaukee, because you've got Contreras, who likes to catch every day. Obviously he can't. So Sanchez probably plays about as much as he should be at the age of 33.
Yeah, usually against lefties, hits lefties a lot better. But he has bought into the Brewers' system of seeing a lot of pitches, willing to take your walks. But at the same time, he works so well with the young pitchers. He's involved in the meetings. This guy's been around a while. He's caught a lot of guys. He's seen a lot. And that kind of experience is what you want behind the plate and in the clubhouse when you have such a young starting staff.
Sanchez now in his 12th major league season, only 3 home runs shy of 200 for the career. Big number 99 in there with a 1-2 count. These two go back a long way. Sanchez and Rodriguez back to the Red Sox and Yankee days. Sanchez, 7 seasons in the Bronx, twice an All-Star there with the Yankees. David Hamilton, former Red Sox player, would be next.
Always love to see the connections. You get to the park early, you see the guys come and talk around home plate, and then sometimes you have to figure out those connections. Hey, where did these guys play together? How do they know each other? Are they from the same city? Things like that.
Could be in winter ball someplace.
Yeah.
Or Arizona Fall League. Got under this one way up high among the rafters for Gurriel in left. And Eduardo Rodriguez has a 1-0 lead. He has set down 6 in a row on Star Spangled Sunday from the desert. Welcome back on Peacock, the Star Spangled Sunday. Steve Berthune, Tim Dillard, Todd Walsh along the way. Diamondbacks and Brewers, both teams with very successful starting rotations this year. Of course, the Diamondbacks is not exactly old man in the sea in the middle of the desert here, but there is a significant age gap, Tim Dillard, in these two starters.
Hey, you can see here 3.5, 4 years, depending on what the roster is going to look like. And the Brewers really went big on trying to find young starters in the offseason, and it's paid off, because if you think you can get to a major league season now with 5, 6, 7 starters, it's not going to happen. But they traded away some pieces, they got some guys in, and it's shaping up very nicely.
Yeah, sent Freddie Peralta, the veteran, to the Mets in January. Got Brandon Sprout in return. 25-year-old rookie who faces Tim Tower to lead off the Diamondbacks second. Tower just recalled from their AAA club in Reno before the game today. 172 in 33 games this year. And Sprout coming off a laborious 28-pitch first. Tower gets the start at third base, a rare off day for the veteran Nolan Arenado. This is a super versatile plug-and-play athlete. Arenado's been superb defensively for the Diamondbacks this year, his first season in Arizona. But at an advanced age now, needs the occasional day off. So Tower gets the start at third. And Sprout runs that sinker in there. Did not offer, says Charlie Ramos, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you watch Nolan Arenado play, and you would say, yeah, I don't think he needs a day off at all. Saw a couple of good plays last night. Game 1 had a good play.
Arenado now 35. The offense has been up and down a bit, but the glove has been as sensational as ever. 10 career Gold Gloves, 6 Platinum Gloves.
I think the biggest thing is just his clutch factor. In the Game 1, the only extra base hit that was hit in the ball game was his, with 2 outs and 2 on.
3-2 to Tower. And that's ball 4. Second walk issued by Sprout. And a reminder, fans, the MLB app has you covered all season long. You can get personalized highlights and push notifications built just for you. Just download the MLB app. It's the #1 app for live baseball. Leadoff man aboard for the Diamondbacks ahead of first baseman Pavin Smith. First base has been an ongoing issue in Arizona all season long. Veteran Carlos Santana was signed this winter, but appeared in only 8 games for the Diamondbacks. He was injured and eventually released. Santana now in the Braves minor league system. 1-0 on Pavin Smith, former Diamondback first-round pick. Ildemaro Vargas has seen the bulk of the work at first base. He's been outstanding defensively, while Smith was out for much of the season after left elbow surgery in April. So he's really trying to get his season kick-started once again. And Pavin Smith slaps it the other way toward left. Chourio will give it a look. The Diamondbacks, Tim, if there's a weakness in this offense, it's been at first base and DH. They've had next to nothing from both those spots. And over the course of 6 months, it's kind of hard to win like that.
I will say that a lot of teams maybe struggle in those areas, but if you have a chance to go for it, which the Diamondbacks are kind of going all in here right before the All-Star break to say that they are going for it, try to go for that wild card, because they know all they need is their foot in the door and they can make good things happen.
I saw that 3 years ago when they went all the way to the World Series.
Yeah, so just going out and getting a big bat to replace at DH, that's easier than saying, hey, we got to go find a flagship shortstop or we got to find an everyday center fielder.
They just did bring in Max Kepler a couple of weeks ago, not in the starting lineup today. And Pavin chases that breaking ball, and Sprout has his first strikeout.
Yeah, this is the part in the ball game where Brandon Sproat starts throwing all the breaking stuff. He tried to establish fastball early, got behind on a lot of batters. Already 3 full counts so far in this game. He's trying to see if he gets some early outs like he did the last out of the first inning.
Sproat has walked 2, struck out 1. Tommy Troy, the rookie center fielder, bats ninth. Tawa's on the move. Throw from Sanchez is way off, and Tim Tawa's in there with his first stolen base of the year. Just up from AAA this morning.
Kind of thought he was going to take off at some point. Gary Sanchez having a bit of a tough time trying to get the ball out. Good snag by Joey Ortiz. Thought he was going to try to fake it like it went into center field. The way he kind of tucked it and looked around.
So Tawa's at second, 1 out, and a 1-0 count on the rookie Tommy Troy. That's fouled back. Sproat gave up back-to-back 1-out doubles in the first. Perdomo and Carroll for the game's first run. Now the Diamondbacks threatening again in the second. Sproat already at 40 pitches, barely half for strikes. Tommy Troy, a Diamondback first-round pick 3 years ago, an infielder at Stanford. The number 12 overall selection in what was a loaded 2023 draft. He's come up through their minor league system as a middle infielder, but has been converted into an outfielder here this year.
I really like how he chokes up on the bat. 2 strikes, almost a dying art. He wants to lean and try to get some contact. Pitchers notice this when it comes to batters willing to change to try to make contact. Nothing there,
said the former pitcher. So Troy chases another high fastball, second strikeout.
Well, what we're seeing is kind of a triangle approach. Got pitches in, pitches away, and then goes to the top. Everything close enough to try to get a commitment. Troy unable to make contact with that one.
Tawa's at second, 2 down for the DH. Ketel Marte, who grounded out to start the game. In the leadoff spot, checks on that sweeper for ball 1. Marte last 23 games hitting .323. Heating up along with the June weather in Arizona now into July on this star-spangled Sunday.
I think the Brewers have done a good job trying to keep Marte at bay, because he came into this series in fuego, home runs, and making really loud contact. The Brewers have been very careful pitching to Marte, which is hard to do when you're the guy probably with the most impact is your leadoff man.
No doubt. Yeah, he was hitting literally a home run a day last week. And when he stays patient, he's a deadly weapon up there. He will occasionally chase out of the zone. Ahead of the count now, 2 balls and a strike. Foul in front of Dave McKay at first. Marte, a switch hitter.
Let's take a look at Marte, where he stands in the box. Look at that. Like an Anthony Rizzo type. Hands almost over the plate when the ball's in the air.
From the right side, he's a little closer to the pitcher. He backs up from the left-hand side. There's another foul ball.
It's actually really tough to pitch to when a guy feels that comfortable being that close.
He's a natural right-hand hitter, Ketel Marte. Tremendous power from both sides, but the right side is where he can really launch him. Right hand stance more closed. Left side stance see just a little bit more open here. 2-2. Won't bite on the curveball. Perdomo would be next. He doubled and scored in the first. A lot of pitches for the Brewer right-hander. Coming up on 50. He's not yet out of the second inning. Both these bullpens are gassed, by the way. That is fair up the line at first. A terrific stop by Vaughn. And Sproat gets over to cover. They strand that leadoff walk. We've played 2 in Arizona. Diamondbacks lead the Brewers 1-0.
Here at Chase Field with Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo. Torey, I know you guys have elevated the pitch count and you're happy with that, but how big was it to see Geraldo Perdomo with a full count before he gets on base?
Yeah, those are the type of swings that we're used to seeing him take. And, you know, there's a little bit of hustle to his swing sometimes, but he let the ball get deep, hit it where it was pitched. That's who he is. And you're right, we have built up some pitch counts and we're being patient, waiting for our pitch.
I know playing king of the court is not exactly what you want to do, riding the hot hand. You've done it for 3 games, but have your guys responded to that?
I think so. You know, I know they pick up on what I say out loud, and I've been saying it to you guys. Like, I don't like that idea. I believe in the process, but if you're king of the court, you're going to get playing time. That's where we're at right now.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Todd. Torey Lavello playing king of the court, as he calls it. If you get a couple of hits, you're going to play the next day. They need production.
Well, Del Castillo, 3-run homer last night. He's not in the lineup, but you know they're going to see him probably come up in a big moment. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with this approach. I think players really want that. How many times you have a good game and then it's like, all right, well, now you're going to sit for whatever reason. Maybe it's a lefty, maybe it's a righty matchup.
David Hamilton gets the left-on-left matchup. He's at third base for Milwaukee as he leads off the third against Eduardo Rodriguez, who has retired the last 6 he's faced, coming off a 10-pitch second. And it's 0-2 on Hamilton. And the king of the court thing mostly applies to first base, that we were talking about earlier, because they've had 0 production from that position. And so Vargas, who had a couple of hits the other night, was in there yesterday. Today it's Pavin Smith. Vargas covering for Marte at second. Hamilton pulls that one foul.
Well, I think what it does is it creates a little bit of urgency for the player. We got to hear Torey talk a lot about Corbin Carroll. Like he said, I don't have to worry about this guy. This guy is a manager's dream. He shows up every day ready to play. That's part of it.
Corbin Carroll's wired differently than most humans, in a very good way.
Well, I've had teammates like that. They just always feel this urgency, and you look at them like, what's going on? But it causes you to be prepared, and it allows you to really perform at a very elite level.
Hamilton able to check, appeal to third. No, says Chris Guccione. And it's a full count, 3-2. Joey Ortiz, the shortstop, on deck. 3-2 to David Hamilton. Hamilton lines it right to Perdomo, perfectly positioned. And Erod has set down 7 straight. MLB Star Spangled Sunday. Every team, every game, one home. Action continues on NBC, Peacock, and NBCSN. Steve Berthiaume, Tim Dillard, Todd Walsh here with you. Rubber game of the 3-game set, the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. Here's Joey Ortiz, the shortstop, in there for the rookie Cooper Pratt, who has the day off to start.
So far, all 7 outs for Eduardo Rodriguez have been on the fastball. That right there was a 7-pitch at bat to Hamilton, just threw 9 pitches in inning number 2.
Tim, how has Ortiz's role evolved here in a short time with the Brewers? It seems like it's changed pretty quickly.
Started out at third base a couple years ago, moved in everyday shortstop. Now with the emergence of Cooper Pratt, the very young shortstop that they've called up recently, they've pushed him to third base. He's getting the start today at shortstop, but I mean, honestly, I feel like you could put Joey Ortiz anywhere. I'm not sure I've seen a better fielder in my time, just because his glove is so good.
Acquired from Baltimore after the 23 season, part of the deal that sent Corbin Burns, now a Diamondback, to the Orioles. You got a chance to catch up with Corbin?
Yeah, I didn't even think about him being here. He was in Torey Lavello's office. I walk in and they were like, hey, there he is. And I'm like, what's going on?
3-1. He walked into the perfect time. Corbin Burns, coming off Tommy John surgery, was close to starting a rehab assignment when he suffered a back injury. Now they think maybe September for Corbin Burns in his second season as a Diamondback. He's been injured for most of it so far.
Yeah, but what a pick-me-up. If the Diamondbacks are able to put it together, make a run at this thing, they have Corbin Burns coming back in September. That should give you chills.
Former Cy Young winner with the Brewers. 3-2 to Ortiz. That's fouled away. And the Brewers, of course, a couple of years ago had Willie Adames at shortstop. He signed for big money in San Francisco, and that created a spot for Ortiz, who, as you said, has now moved around on that side of the infield. Bottom part of this order making Rodriguez throw some pitches. Got a quick play there from Vargas. And that's 8 straight set down by the Diamondback left-hander. Brings up the top of the order Bryce Terang.
Well, another long at bat, 7 pitches. This one here is a changeup. First out recorded on anything but a fastball. Really challenges Ortiz with a changeup almost right down the middle. Got him on the speed. Funny hop. Ball stays down. Vargas able to reel it in.
Very quick hands on that side of the infield. Ilamaro Vargas. Strike one to Bryce Terang, who has Milwaukee's only hit a leadoff single. After a pair of 3-hit games in the series so far, the Diamondbacks have no answer for Bryce Terang, who has tortured them over the length of his career. He's a lifetime .382 hitter against Arizona. Here are the numbers. 22 games, he scored 21 runs.
And mostly from batting at the top of the order. But when it comes to Bryce Terang, his big thing is he's patient and makes good contact. And now we're seeing an emergence of power dating back to last season, where he's able to use all fields to go deep.
18 homers for Milwaukee last year. These two clubs met at American Family Field 3 games end of April, and Terang had 2 hits in all 3 games. Scored 6 runs in that series. And he's been on base throughout this series as well here in Arizona. 2-2 fouled away. Terang, a Gold Glove and Platinum Glove winner 2 years ago. First player in Brewers history to win a Platinum Glove. Jackson Chourio would be next. Able to check. Wouldn't offer that changeup. That's been a big difference maker for Erod this year. And he's faced 3 batters in this inning, and he's gone to a full count on all 3 after a quick 1-2-3 second. And Terang slaps it up the line. Pavin Smith is there and just does win the foot race to the bag. 9 consecutive set down by Rodriguez, who holds a 1-0 lead. Welcome back to Chase Field in downtown Phoenix on this Star-Spangled Sunday on Peacock. Steve Berthew, Tim Dillon, and Todd Walsh here with you. Diamondbacks a 1-0 lead. Geraldo Perdomo and Corbin Carroll back-to-back doubles in the first for the game's only run, and Perdomo starts us off in the home half of the third. He had been 0 for 9 in this series. Doubled and scored the game's only run so far. Perdomo this year has not had the same season he had last year when he was 4th in the National League MVP voting. The first ever 100 RBI season by a Diamondback shortstop. And this year the offense and the defense haven't quite been up to that same level.
I think a lot of times, especially as a switch hitter, it's hard to maintain. You're facing a lot more righties, facing a lot more lefties, trying to figure it out, and it's hard to keep that consistency. That's why you look at some of the greats that have done it, and it's hard to do.
Perdomo slaps it the other way. Hamilton able to knock it down at third, but can't pick it up, and Perdomo's aboard to start the third. Here comes Corbin Carroll, and Tim, last time Sproat faced Corbin, everything was in.
Yeah, you can tell the scouting report, hey, we got to get this guy in. So there's a 4-seam fastball that's in, curveball that's in, and then sometimes you go to the well too many times. The cutter, a couple of inches off the plate, breaks his bat, dies a hero, and gets his RBI double.
Perdomo likes to run, and there he goes. He got a big jump. Throw from Sanchez, little bobble, and Perdomo's in there head first. They are running on Gary Sanchez. His first appearance in this series, the veteran catcher back there.
Well, they're doing a good job taking off on this one's an off-speed pitch. Almost has a walking lead. And Sproat very early in the season, very good at holding runners. It's only been later on in the last 3 or 4 starts where the stolen bases have ticked up a notch.
Almost threw that one to the backstop. Overcooked a fastball. The Diamondbacks, in terms of base stealing and base running, have a tremendous advantage with their first base coach, Dave McKay, who is often considered the best base running coach in the business. There's Mac, the longtime major league coach. If you have a tell as a pitcher, he will find it somewhere on his iPad.
He can do it all, can he? Throw batting practice. He was hitting fungos off a tee.
Tremendous outfield coach as well. There's another fastball and a swing and miss by Corbin. That's been his kryptonite lately. That elevated heater for swing and miss.
Maybe a little over aggressive right now.
That one right down Broadway, though. They go inside again. Another fastball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's been an extended cold snap for Corbin Carroll. Does have the RBI double tonight, 1 for 1. But he's had a relatively quiet month at the plate. Perdomo dancing around behind Sproat. That's fouled away. Corbin last 26 games is hitting only .206. And Torlavella was saying the other day, everybody has little lulls over the course of a long season, and it's fair to say Corbin Carroll has been in a lull here last month or so.
But at the end of the year, you shake it out, look at the stats. He's going to get his numbers.
They will be there for sure. He will post. There's another elevated fastball and another swing and miss.
Well, I think that at bat had a lot to do with what he saw in the first at bat. A lot of stuff in, and all of a sudden he starts to go middle and then away, and Corbin Carroll running out of bat.
Corbin has been chasing that pitch the last 3 weeks. Moreno walked in the first. The catcher bats cleanup. Moreno, a former Gold Glover behind the plate, and is having an outstanding year offensively. Last 39 games, he's hit .328 with an OPS over 900 and far more walks than strikeouts over that stretch. He walked his first time up today. Perdomo at second, 1 away. 1-0 Arizona in the third.
You can tell that he's really looking for a pitch that he can hit to the right side. Even with that foul ball, it was in. He was still trying to get inside of it.
You can see Vaughn playing well off the bag at first. Turang near that second base bag up the middle.
Yeah, this is that professional hitter. He sees the runner at second, try to hit behind the runner, try to get a run in.
And he's caught looking at a sinker for a strike. Sproat picks up strikeout number 4. Back-to-back strikeouts in the second and now again in the third.
Well, if you think a guy's trying to look for something out over the dish so that he can shoot to right, well, you tie him up inside as much as possible.
Do pitchers read swings as much as they did back in the day, to use that tired phrase?
I would definitely say the older players do. It's hard for a young player to actually know, and there's a lot of hitters out there that just won't give it away. You have to actually go dig into the stats and start looking at the game plan to figure out, oh, this is what this guy does. Some of the best in the game do not reveal their cards. But at the same time, if you've seen a lot, we watched Brandon Woodruff last night before the injury, and I think that's exactly what he was doing. He was reading what the hitters were telling him, and he was adjusting his game accordingly.
Had to come out of the game with an apparent injury. That's fouled away.
But that's where a veteran catcher like Gary Sanchez, we've seen Contreras do a great job this season calling games, actually last several seasons. And some of these pitchers, they've gotten that trust from them. So now they can not really worry about sequencing as much. They can just follow along with the buttons.
That's a pitch that Lourdes often chases. Spits on that one for ball 2. Gurriel will often chase things down in the zone. Now in his 4th season in Arizona after 5 years in Toronto. An all-star with the Diamondbacks 3 years ago. He's missed significant time this year with injuries. Chase the cutter away. Sproat, a hard thrower. We've seen mid to upper 90s consistently. But he's having to throw a lot of those pitches. 66 now. Trying to get out of this third. Vargas would be next. Gurriel able to check on that one. That's the book. A little chase out there, but it's a full count, 3-2.
Yeah, another full count. Gurriel thinking about what's coming next. Probably not thinking that, hey, did I lock my purple car?
Being carefully watched in the players' lot. Working him away. Gurriel came back. He missed the first 20 games this season after right knee surgery last September, and then came back middle of last month from the injured list. Missed 21 games, the left hamstring strain, so still trying to get it going here.
Well, definitely put up an exclamation point in game one, robbing Garrett Mitchell the 3-run homer. He went up and over the wall and left.
It's funny because Gurriel, with the knee injury and the hamstring injury, has moved around in left field exceptionally well. He's looked very good out there. Diamondbacks 14 plate appearances. Half of them have seen at least 6 pitches. They are making Sproat work. Again on 3-2. Perdomo well off second. He'll hold there for now, and again Gurriel won't chase. This is the play you were talking about, Tim, the other night. Garrett Mitchell hit a home run and then nearly had another until Lourdes took this one away Friday night.
In consecutive at bats, this game could have been totally not as long as it was if this ball goes out. But Gurriel finds the wall, puts his hand on the top of it, and pulls that one back.
Felt pretty good about it. Why not? Sanchez out to the mound to talk to Sproat as Ildemaro Vargas steps in. Throwing a whole lot of pitches. We've had 2 pretty close games throughout this series. They played extras Friday, so both these bullpens have been worked a lot. And so you want to get your 2 starters as deep into this one as you can.
Yeah, 7 relievers for the Diamondbacks in game 1, and then 4 of those guys pitched in yesterday's ball game after Merrill Kelly went 5. And then on the other side, the Brewers, they actually had a couple of heroes. Chad Patrick in game 1, Craig Yoho in game 2, guys that ate up a lot of outs. So maybe they're a little bit more on the fresher side, especially the 7, 8, 9 guys that they have down in the bullpen.
Chance for Vargas, who grounded out on the first pitch he saw to win the first. 2 on and 2 out. This has been a consistent problem for this Arizona offense all year long. Runners in scoring position. They are 1 for 7 so far today. The Corbin Carroll RBI double in the first.
I know that's something that both of these teams have struggled with recently, but I think it's one coin with 2 different sides. I think it has a lot to do with pitchers making good pitches at the right time. Maybe batters being a little over aggressive, but also defense. Defense has played a big role in this one.
Vargas chops that one foul with a curveball.
I think that popped off his helmet a little bit.
Both these teams very solid defensively. It looked like it caught him in the bill of the helmet or on the side.
Right in the earring.
Yeah, right in the earring. The earring caught it. Very sparkly, like a holiday. 1-2. Vargas pokes it up the middle. Backhanded by Ortiz. It's short. And they cannot get the runners home. Sproat has to work, but strands too, and it stays 1-0 Arizona.
Todd Walsh back here at Chase Field with Brewers manager Pat Murphy. And Pat, you and I talked about your young pitcher today evolving and understanding his role in the rotation. Along those lines, how has he navigated a 28-pitch first?
Yeah, I mean, he's learning every time out. He's not sharp today, but he's learning some stuff about himself. He's surviving. He's battling. His pitch count is up. We don't like leadoff walks. He isn't holding runners. He's doing a lot of things that rookie pitchers do, but he's got great stuff. He's a great kid. He works his butt off, and we're going to keep encouraging him, and I think he's going to finish stronger than he started.
Lastly, is it still a nick against Eduardo Rodriguez? Is that the battle?
We've hit 5 line drives. They've been all caught. So that's not working. So maybe we need a few bloopers.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great to see you, Pat. Steve, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Murph. Pat Murphy, 2-time defending National League Manager of the Year. Got a new 3-year extension before this season started. Not just about the wins, Tim Dillard. Why has Pat Murphy been the right fit in Milwaukee?
I think he lets players be themselves. I think it's his show, and if you don't abide by it, there's been instances where he'll take a guy out of a game to teach him a lesson. You know, something that you would do probably in Little League, but you just don't see in Major League Baseball anymore. And now he has everyone on the same page. They know the plan, they know what works, and they've had success.
They've had a lot of success. Milwaukee, 21 games over 500, 6 ahead of the Cubs atop the NL Central, and on pace for their winningest season ever under Pat Murphy. Yelich on deck, full count on Jackson Chourio.
Well, I think it starts with that guy right there, Christian Yelich. He's your guy. If he buys into it, everyone else does.
Just past a diving Tawa at third. Chourio has just the second Brewers hit. That ends a stretch of 9 consecutive retired by Rodriguez.
Last 5 at-bats have gone 6 pitches or more. This one, 6 pitch, all the richer on this changeup. Able to get by Tawa out in the left. Brewers have a leadoff man on.
And they have the face of the franchise, Yelich. I mean, Chourio might be the next one at 22, but Yelich at 34, now the elder statesman. Which might be a term that nobody really wants in the big leagues. You're the elder statesman of a ball club, but I think that fits in Yelich's case.
Yeah, and maybe he's going through it a little bit right now. I think the way pitchers have been pitching him, fastballs up. We've seen curveballs and sliders down and in. But what we have also seen is if you don't locate, you're not going to get the ball back. Hit one in the pool in yesterday's game, but he can spray the ball all over the field at any point. He is dangerous for an extra base hit or more. That's why his walks are still there, on base percentage still good.
Big home run in the 5th inning last night off Merrill Kelly. Diamondbacks able to hang on and win it 4-3. Yelich bunts it. Erod has it, and they're able to move Chourio along. That's the first out in the 4th for the Brewers. And it brings up Andrew Vaughn. That's a former MVP bunting to advance the runner.
Well, I think he was probably bunting more for a hit. I mean, there's no Arenado at third, and he's facing a lefty. He's got good speed, so see if he can get out of the box. I think the bounce went more towards the pitcher. Rodriguez able to make the play, and we saw the Diamondbacks before game 1 going through bunt plays. They knew who was coming in town when it comes to the Brewers and knew that pitchers need to have a plan.
Yelich given the sacrifice, gets Chourio into second ahead of Vaughn, who flied out to win the 1st. Vaughn does not have a hit in the series. 0 for 3 with a walk in his start last night. He's been murdering left-hand pitching all year long. Came into the game today hitting .407 against lefties this year. Pat Murphy, as you heard him, they've hit line drives. That's not worked. Maybe a bloop here can tie the ball game for the Brewers. Play on at second, and Chourio is back in time. Murph has got the clock. The Brewers have had some lineouts. Bowers hit 111 for an out. Mitchell 107. Sanchez 96. Hamilton 82. They have hit line drives, but all for outs. Foul tip. Moreno hangs on for the Brewers. This is their first plate appearance with a runner in scoring position in the game today. They have gone just 4 for 28 in this series in these situations.
One thing the Brewers are really good at is, especially when a guy gives up their at bat, to advance a runner and puts a little pressure on the guys, a good kind of pressure on the batters coming up behind.
Called strike 3. The sinker's there. Esther Ceja rings up Vaughn. Second strikeout for Rodriguez.
Yeah, 1-2 count, goes heater in. Not caught very cleanly. It just shows how much that ball was possibly moving.
So Moreno trying to frame it on the inner half.
I think Vaughn was trying to take a second to see if he was going to challenge, and
you only get 2.
You only get a couple of seconds. Yeah,
it has to be nearly immediate. Jake Bauers the batter now, as they try to get Chourio home from second base. Bauers lined out his first time, as you just mentioned. Hit it 111 miles an hour, but right at Corbin Carroll in right. Interesting for Bauers, Tim. He's been, I think it's fair to say, a supporting cast member since he's been in Milwaukee, but this year he's moved closer to center stage for the Brewers.
Well, you see him batting against a lefty is just a testament for what he's been able to do at first base. It started at first, but now we've seen him in left, we've seen him in right, batting against lefties, batting against righties, putting up numbers.
Find a spot for his bat in the lineup no matter who's out there.
And the power's really come to center field and left field. I mean, we know he can pull a ball. I mean, right, mom can roll out of bed and pull a ball. That's baseball. But for him, this is a big clip, going center field and left field, going to that opposite field. He's been really good at this season.
Rodriguez behind in the count 3-0. Yeah, Bowers has had a significant jump in his rate of hard hit balls, and if you look at the spray charts, going the other way a lot more often. That's the curveball. Erod this year has mixed in that curveball more often than in years past, but he really does pick his spots with it, and that's made it all the more effective.
The way he throws, his whole delivery, it looks very lethargic, very slow. And the changeup and the curveball, honestly, watching it in real time, it's like, is it going to get there? Is it going to get to the catcher? I can't imagine when you're standing in the box and you're like, man, that looks like it just hits an invisible wall on the way.
Bowers hits it high in the air along the right field line for Corbin Carroll. And again, the Brewers cannot get the run home. We're in the fourth in Arizona, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. Brewers star Jackson Chourio out of Maracaibo, Venezuela, having a moment here with his fellow Venezuelan Eduardo Rodriguez.
Always fun. Played winter ball in Venezuela. Some of the most competitive baseball I think I'd ever witnessed. And then the next moment, best friends. I think that's the way baseball was intended.
Of course, everyone considering what's happened in Venezuela with those terrible earthquakes, and a lot of the Venezuelan players have the VZ on the side of their caps or helmets for their home country, their countrymen who have gone through such a terrible tragedy. Of course, Erod represented Venezuela brilliantly in the WBC final when he was just dominant against Team USA. Tawa pops this one up near the Milwaukee dugout. Vaughn over to have a look, and it's out of play. And Tim, this is really what around here the Diamondbacks say launched Eduardo Rodriguez's all-star season. It jacked up his level of competitive fire, and he's not come down since that start.
I think he was starting to show flashes of greatness last season, but it was on full display in the WBC. And when you get the juices flowing like that and can carry over into a season, I think that's what he's doing. I think he's bottled that up, and it is unleashed every 5 days for him.
He has been on a roll ever since that tremendous outing. I mean, it's got to do so much for you, so much more for you as an athlete versus, say, a spring training start on a Wednesday afternoon against the Rockies.
I think that's what's so great about the WBC is the competitive juices are flowing.
Yeah.
And you just felt like the offseason just got over with, and now boom, you feel like you're pitching in the World Series.
And it's interesting, I think, when that event first rolled around, teams are very hesitant to let their players go, particularly the pitchers.
Oh yeah.
You're worried about that early in the year, injuries, but I think Erod may have changed the thinking about that process.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of pitchers would want to do it because it's almost like you get your footing even before spring training. The hitters the same way. I know there were some injuries on both sides of the baseball, but it's good for baseball. It's good for the players. The players know what they're getting into.
Look, you can get hurt in a WBC game just as easily as on a backfield somewhere in a Cactus League game.
And that happens too.
Yeah.
Maybe not sitting on a cactus, but
well, that's
all that kind of stuff.
Also painful.
Yeah. I mean, you can be doing a live BP session on field 2 in March.
Tim Tawa, the foot race is on. Sprode able to pick it up after 73 pitches in the third, or after the third, and he retires Tawa to start the fourth ahead of Pavin Smith.
Another long at bat, 8 pitches on that one. Finally gets the out on a cutter.
16 plate appearances for Arizona batters. Half of them have seen at least 6 pitches.
Last time out, Brandon Sprode threw a career high 106 pitches. That was 11 more than his previous high. And the way the bullpen has been going, if he's able to keep putting up outs, you got to think that he's going to go into the hundreds.
Well, he's taken a lot of right crosses and some jabs and some body punches, but he's dancing around out there, and he's kept it a 1-0 game. Pavin Smith lines it to right, and it drops in front of Bowers. Well, Pavin trying to beat Torlavello's king of the court at first base. You get a hit today, you're in there tomorrow. That's the philosophy these days from the Diamondback manager.
Now he gets 96 in, and he's able to pull the hands in very well. Hits the ball maybe right off the barrel a little bit. Good job by Bowers getting behind it, keeping it to a single.
Pavin Smith, the start at first base. Here's the rookie center fielder Tommy Troy, who struck out his first time. Troy played a lot of second base and some shortstop at Stanford. 2 seasons in the Cape League at Wareham and Katuitt. Final season with the Cardinal, he played a full year at third base and now finds himself in center field in the big leagues. Diamondbacks, when Troy was at AAA Reno this year, transitioned him from infield to outfield, and he's been pretty much their everyday center fielder ever since.
That's sometimes what you're dealing with when you're in AAA. Your best shortstop's playing center field and your best center fielder's playing first, but we've already seen the defense on display in this series. He's ran down several hits in the outfield.
This is hit out to center. Garrett Mitchell backing up in front of the warning track, and he's able to run it down. Smith back to first as Tommy Troy has allowed out number 2. Well, it's the ultimate goal of an MLB fan, seeing it all. The MLB Journey to 30 sweepstakes presented by T-Mobile is the ultimate baseball bucket list. You can enter now for your chance to win trips to all 30 Major League ballparks. That's right, all 30. MLB.com/Journey to 30 sweeps is the place to go. Leadoff hitter Ketel Marte 0 for 2. Both these teams will head out on the road after this one. The Diamondbacks finish up the first half with 4 at San Diego and then 3 at Dodger Stadium. Brewers will head to St. Louis, 5 games in 4 days this week against the Cardinals. They finish up with 3 at Pittsburgh. That's a tough finish there. 11 games in 10 days for Milwaukee going into the All-Star break.
And it can be a big series for Milwaukee going against the Cardinals. Cardinals looking to try to gain major ground on the Milwaukee Brewers, but that comes as a result of a rainout, which the Diamondbacks have their own makeup game against the St. Louis Cardinals.
And their own issues with after that decision to not play the game.
Have to do it on an off day.
Turned a 3-city road trip into a 4-city road trip. By the way, the Cubs won today, but they beat the Cardinals 6-4. That's just gone far. Trying to keep pace with Milwaukee in that National League Central race. 1-0 on Ketel Marte. Marte, it rolls into left center. Pavin Smith is on the move. He'll head for third. Marte stops at first. They're on the corners with 2 outs for Geraldo Perdomo.
Now gets a fastball, outer half, good swing on an inside part of the baseball. Umpire ducks out of the way. Joey Ortiz, no chance. Garrett Mitchell thought about going to third, said no, let's keep the force out at second. Now first and third. That brings out Chris Hook to talk to Brandon Sproat on what they're going to do here with Perdomo.
Oh, this is where the Diamondbacks offense has not clicked today. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, but they have Perdomo at the plate, who has singled, doubled, and scored a run. He's 2 for 2 today.
Want more MLB stats? Just ask Siri. What pitcher has recorded the most strikeouts in MLB history?
Activity in the Milwaukee bullpen with Sproat approaching 90 pitches. Here is the right-hander Grant Anderson, who was the winning pitcher here Friday night in that extra inning affair. Perdomo, the hitter, he's 2 for 2. 2 on and 2 out. 1-0 Arizona in the 4th. This is the second time this year the Diamondbacks have seen Brandon Sproat. He lost to these Diamondbacks in Milwaukee back on April 29th, went just 4 1/3.
Well, and something similar too. It was about strike 1. He's about 40% first pitch strikes in this one. He was about 50% first pitch strikes in that one. That's something that's plagued him for most of the season. And good lineups will take advantage.
Haven Smith at third base. Ketel Marte at first with 2 outs.
I think what Pat Murphy was talking about earlier about Sproat is you're going to have games like this.
Yeah.
When every single batter, every single inning is an absolute grind. It's been 20+ pitches every single inning.
He's at 90 now in the 4th. That's fouled right behind Dave McKay at first. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And then there's other games where it feels like every time the ball leaves your hand, it's an automatic out. And there's no explanation for it except these type of games you want to put as far back in the rearview mirror as you possibly can.
Perdomo, a very good 2-strike hitter. And he calls time. Brandon Sproat from Pace, Florida, on the Panhandle in the Pensacola area. Pitched collegiately for the Gators in Gainesville. Second rounder by the Mets, now with the Brewers after a trade from New York in January. Perdomo slaps it deep to left. Churio is there. And once again, Brandon Sproat walks the high wire, but strands 2 and keeps it a 1-0 game. Tempe Town Lake over by the Arizona State Sun Devil campus, where Brewers manager Pat Murphy was a longtime head coach. It's a star-spangled Sunday on Peacock. The Diamondbacks with a 1-0 lead over the Brewers. And Garrett Mitchell starts us off in the Milwaukee 5th against Eduardo Rodriguez. Tim Dillard, what has a healthy Garrett Mitchell meant to this Milwaukee offense?
Well, I think they were waiting to see what it was going to look like when the at-bats started ticking up. And as you can see here, it's been looking really good. He's been outstanding really the last probably 40 games. He has really come into his own. He's got such a quick swing, such a quick bat path that he's able to see the ball longer than most. And when he makes connection, I mean, it is loud. It's loud. He'll hit it 110, 115. He can really lay into a baseball.
He lined out to center his first time up, and a ball hit 107 miles an hour, to your point.
Well, he plays an excellent center field. Will also steal some bases. The issue early on was strikeouts, but again, this is a guy that's battled injury the last 4 seasons in some capacity.
Serious injuries too, not just ticky-tack ones.
Well, now you're starting to see pitchers for a second, a third time. The at-bats start to add up, and then suddenly you feel more comfortable than you are with here's 20 games, here's 15 games.
Pat Murphy has said he did not expect anything close to this for Garrett Mitchell. Playing every day, getting better and better. Now that he's able to stay healthy after a litany of injuries over the course of his first 4 years.
Well, the side effect is he's been trying to stay healthy, and that's why you've seen him in this series slide feet first, really trying to stay out of sliding, head first and risk something with a shoulder.
3-2. There's that occasional curveball. He can really pick his spots with that pitch, and Rodriguez gets his 3rd strikeout.
That's the first on the breaker. Down and away. Seems like a strike for so long. Mitchell commits to it. Unable to come up with anything.
Catcher Gary Sanchez flying out to end the 2nd. Diamondbacks handed Eduardo Rodriguez a run after the 1st inning, and he's made it stand all the way here through the 5th.
I really like that sequence. You throw a really good curveball to a lefty. It feels good in your hand. You start throwing it and you throw it to a righty to start off an at bat.
He had a game against the Giants not long ago where he discovered that curveball, had a tremendous feel for it, threw it far more than in any other start this year, and said afterward, I suddenly felt like Barry Zito out there throwing left-handed curveballs in a game with the Giants. This is tapped to short. Nice high hop for Perdomo. 5 in a row set down by Rodriguez. 2 outs of the 5th brings up David Hamilton.
Well, if you start comparing to Zito, you got to get some more arc on that thing.
That's true.
3 feet higher in the air.
Big lollipop curveball from Barry Zito.
But when you have a feel for it, that's a real thing. Maybe it's a pitch that's gone dormant and you're starting to wake it back up for whatever reason. It's something's different. Maybe it's your arm angle. Maybe you're more on top this year, which has been the case for Rodriguez. Just the arm angle in general. Pitches start feeling a little bit better.
It was a good example of how, and this is something Torey Lovello talks about a lot with Erod, is his ability to make it mid-game adjustments, get a feel for swings, get a feel for what's working that day, and if necessary, alter the game plan that was going in. And that's really helped him excel this year into the All-Star game.
Well, some of the older pitchers are the ones that make the best adjustments, but we just saw Erod in the dugout surrounded by teammates looking at an iPad. So like they're always trying to get it right. They're always communicating. The best ones do.
The Diamondbacks this year are 13-4 in Rodriguez's 17 starts. He has kept the opponent to 2 earned runs or fewer in 13 of those 17 starts. He has had a remarkable year. 2-1 on David Hamilton, the third baseman for the Brewers. And that's bounced up the line fair for Pavin Smith. And Rodriguez with a quick 1-2-3 fifth. He set down 6 in a row and holds a 1-0 lead on this Star-Spangled Sunday.
Todd Walsh back here at Chase Field. 1-0 Diamondbacks, bottom of the 5th. You're looking at Jackson Chourio, the Milwaukee Brewers, and Steve, if I could follow the story that you touched on the massive earthquakes in Venezuela, felt literally in every corner of Major League Baseball. And Jackson Chourio and several of his teammates with the Milwaukee Brewers, with direct connections to Venezuela, took matters in their own hands, combining with the religious community and community leaders in Milwaukee to put together a United for Venezuela emergency relief effort. Over a dozen players helped out in putting a supply train basically together, sent directly to Venezuela. And the bottom line is, once again, we see baseball players, franchises saying, look, we have the means and we have the ability, and therefore we're going to do whatever we can to help. And that story, quite frankly, is not going to go away, the desperation in Venezuela. So a tip of the hat to them and the entire community in Milwaukee for trying to help out, Steve.
Job well done, certainly, on the part of the folks in Wisconsin. And his new pitcher, Grant Anderson, who was the winning pitcher here Friday night in extra innings, is on in relief of Brandon Sproat. Corbin Carroll leads off the 5th inning for Arizona. Sproat 92 pitches over 4 innings. Gave up a run on 5 hits. Walked 3, struck out 4. Anderson now in his 2nd season in the Milwaukee bullpen. He was a big part of things last year, 66 appearances. On for the 35th time this year.
Yeah, definitely available when you start getting to the mid-30 appearances before All-Star break.
Carroll pops it up. Sanchez, the veteran, behind the plate. And he's able to run it down. 1 away in the 5th brings up Gabriel Moreno.
Yeah, one thing that's been a very bright spot for the Brewers, especially recently, has been that bullpen. Last 6 games. ERA, just 6 walks to 21 strikeouts.
Brewers' pen has been exceptional in this series, certainly. And Anderson, part of that. He was the winning pitcher here, as we mentioned, Friday. Brewers' pen went 8 1/3 in that series opener Friday night. Gave up 1 run. 4 1/3 last night, also gave up 1 run. So that's 12 2/3 covered by this Milwaukee relief corps over the first 2 games of this series.
Yeah, when you don't have a starter in 3 games, get through 5 innings, everything's going to rely on that bullpen.
Of course, they lost Brandon Woodruff midway through the ball game last night and had to leave with an apparent injury in the 4th inning. Second time that's happened to Woodruff this year, both times against Arizona, coincidentally, not ironically. Gabby won't chase out there. A sweeper. It's 2 balls and a strike. There's that sinker in there for strike 2.
That's pretty much where Grant Anderson's going to live. Fastballs up, sweepers away. You kind of have to guess 50-50 on what it's going to be, and he'll throw any pitch to lefties or righties. You don't see a lot of sidearm righties throwing good breaking balls to lefties, but
why is that?
It's so hard. As a
former sidearm yourself.
Yeah. In my head, I'm stressed already. For righties, you have a reference point. You can get a good feel for that release. And then when you have a guy that's in the left-handed batter's box, you're just kind of guessing. And when you tug on it too much, you can throw it behind the guy. And if you not enough, you throw it in the right-handed batter's box. So, but one thing he's been doing a stellar job lately is landing that sweeper for lefties.
Couldn't get Moreno to chase that left one. The right-hand batter got in on the hands that time for Ortiz at short. And there's 2 outs in the 5th. Hey, summer's #1 show is back for the ultimate competition. Don't miss an all-new America's Got Talent. That's coming up Tuesday on NBC and Peacock. There's Gurriel Jr., the hitter down. Gurriel has grounded out and walked. And Lourdes first pitch swinging, hangs it up in left center. Churio's there. And Anderson makes short work of the Diamondbacks in the 5th. Milwaukee trails it 1-0 on this Star-Spangled Sunday. Back in downtown Phoenix inside Chase Field here on Peacock. Steve Berthune, Tim Dillard, Tom Walsh along the way. Tim, the Brewers farm system is loaded and there's more on the way.
One of the best farm systems in all of baseball. Farm director for the Brewers is actually here on this series, and I mean, just highlights of these guys, what they're able to do. Jesus Made, #1 prospect
in all of baseball.
I mean, they got guys at every level, and it's almost like a logjam in a lot of ways, because it's like, well, who are you going to replace? You know, it's a trickle-down effect. Well, the Brewers have kind of reversed that. It's almost the trickle-up effect.
You can see rated by MLB Pipeline with the #1 farm system in baseball as Ortiz flies out to Corbin Carroll in right field. Eduardo Rodriguez has allowed only 2 base runners today, both singles. He set down the last 7 and is making that first inning run stand up. Lineup card turns over. Turang has one of their 2 hits, a single to lead off the game.
I think what's impressive too for Rodriguez is, yeah, you give up a couple of hits, but they're leadoff batters. Usually that's where those big innings get out of hand, is the first batter of the inning. And
good point.
I mean, he gives up a leadoff hit to Turang in the 1st, and then it's 3 outs, and leadoff single to Churio in the 4th, and then it's 3 quick outs.
Got the next 9 after the Turang single in the 1st. He sat down all 7 he's faced since the Churio single in the 4th.
You know, it's only 1-0, but doesn't it feel like the Diamondbacks are out a little further the way he is pitching?
It's been like that with him all year long. That's why he's going to the All-Star game. He has been their most consistent starter by far all year long. And it's a well-deserved All-Star nod, the 4th lowest ERA among all Major League starters, and that number so far is going down again. 2-1 on Turang, making 3 balls and a strike. Top of the order, Jackson Chourio on deck. He has their other hit. Brewers 21 over 500, 6 up on the Cubs for the NL Central Division lead at the start of play today. The Cubs won already today. Turang rolls it to second. Ildemaro Vargas, little bobble, recovers, and there's 2 outs in the 6th. NL Central has become quite the competitive division. The Reds are having a disappointing season, but everyone seems to think the Pirates are for real. St. Louis certainly surprised considering their offseason moves.
Well, you go back to maybe the first month of the season, all of this was in reverse order. Everybody was over 500. Everybody was playing well. Everyone's trying to figure out what is in the water in the NL Central. The Brewers just kept trucking along. They kept playing their game and stacking up wins.
That's what they've done for a long time now, nearly a decade. Milwaukee, a perennial postseason contender, 7 times in the last 8 years they've played in October. 3 consecutive division titles atop that National League Central.
Well, they're proving that this style of baseball is not only a good style of baseball, exciting to watch, but there's success behind it.
Chourio gives this one a ride to center, and it's high off the wall. It bounces back toward the infield. He'll settle for a double. Just the 3rd Milwaukee hit. Chourio has 2 of them. Not much Tommy Troy could do right there. 109 miles an hour off the bat. He hit it 423.
423-foot double. Garrett Mitchell had a 421-foot double. Where are we, Steve? Yeah, this ball mashed into center, and I mean, That's a tough play for anybody. Troy, not a ton of experience, but he was going back on that ball thinking maybe I got a beat on it. Runs out of room.
407 to straightaway center, 413 to the gaps. This ballpark is not quite Coors Field elevation, but it is the second highest elevation in the major league, so the ball will fly here at times, which is why there's some room out there in center. Here's Yelich 0 for 2, or 0 for 1. He had a sac bunt his last time up. Milwaukee has struggled to get runners home. They've only had a few. That's a home run in nearly every other ballpark except this one, maybe Detroit. Yelich lifts it out to left. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is there. And again, Eduardo Rodriguez strands a base runner in the 6th, and it's still 1-0 Arizona. Fourth of July weekend in the Valley of the Sun, Old Town Scottsdale. Always a highlight for tourists in the Phoenix area. So's Chase Field here in downtown. Ildemaro Vargas trying to bunt his way on. It's up the line, barehanded by Hamilton, who makes a nice play. And Vargas is a 1-pitch out in the 6th.
That's a great play by David Hamilton, and I think where this play originated, as soon as he saw the squeeze, look at the speed on Hamilton to be able to get to this ball. Then he's been able to just pick it up bare hand, set his feet, and throw a good throw. How many third basemen do you see have to just bare hand that as they're running towards home and then throw across the field? Great job by David Hamilton.
Yeah, that running throw is a prototypical Nolan Arenado play in a similar circumstance.
He's probably in the dugout going, here's what I would have done.
Nolan likes to throw on the run. Tao, the third baseman, has walked, stolen a base, and grounded out. Just up from AAA today. With James Groover option back to Reno. More activity in the Brewer bullpen. It's a tired bunch back there. That's true for both these clubs. Drew Rom, the left-hander. Two balls and a strike on Tim Tawa. That one is backhanded it short by Ortiz. Left side of the Milwaukee infield representing here in the 6th. 2 down.
As a pitcher on this squad, yeah, get the ball on the ground. You're probably going to get an out. Joey Ortiz does a little slide backhand, realizes, you know what, I got turf. Let's just skip some rocks over there.
Well, Tim Tawa hit that 106 miles an hour, but it's an out. Anderson will exit. Left-hander Pavin Smith coming up. Lefty on his way in. Back in a moment from Phoenix. Left-hander Drew Rom on for the Brewers. His second stint with the big league roster this year. Signed as a minor league free agent in December. Faces Pavin Smith. Just his 5th appearance for the Milwaukee Brewers this season. He's really come back from some serious injuries. Missed all of 2024. Left shoulder surgery. Had a left forearm issue as well. Trying to work his way back.
Well, just got in today after they put Brandon Woodruff on that 15-day injured list with that right shoulder inflammation. Had to leave yesterday's game, so quickly he's able to get to Phoenix, and he's in the middle of this ball game.
Has pitched well at AAA Nashville, a 2.51 earned run average in 25 outings. Pavin Smith has struck out and singled, one of 5 Diamondback hits so far. They had back-to-back doubles in the first, Perdomo and Carroll, and that has been all the offense in the ball game today for both sides. This would normally be a spot where Ildemaro Vargas would come in, hit for Pavin Smith left on left. Vargas a switch hitter, and then take over at first base. But Vargas got to start at second base with Ketel Marte as the DH. So Pavin Smith gets the left on left matchup. Diamondbacks would not have anyone else to play first base.
Well, it's got to be a really good advantage for the Diamondbacks. They have 4 switch hitters on their active roster, most across baseball. We do know the Cleveland Guardians will have 4. They also have some injuries, but to have that kind of...
Yeah, they could move Tim Tauer from third to first, but they're trying to get Arenado a full off day. He's desperately needed one for a while now.
Yeah, he's played a lot of games, but to have that kind of versatility as a ball club, I mean, that the Brewers can totally relate to that. Plug and play different guys and try to put players in a position to succeed.
Guys like Tim Tauer really help out in that regard, as does Ildemaro Vargas. And Sanchez will challenge the call by Nestor Ceja.
The catcher is challenging the call of ball.
Sanchez trying to flip the script here. T-Mobile gives us a look, and that's a strike.
The pitch is a strike. It is strike 3. Milwaukee has 2 challenges remaining.
Good challenge by the veteran Sanchez. Ends the 6th, and it's still 1-0. Backs all-star left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez, the Venezuelan native, having some fun with his countryman Jackson Chourio on the other side.
Well, he got the better part of the first at-bat with a strikeout. Here's a single through the 6-hole. They're kind of laughing. He was stranded on that one. And then this one, I think Rodriguez probably thought it was gone. Stays in the yard.
And then the smile.
They laugh about it.
A-Rod can only, all right, you got me that one. He's 2 for 3. He's got 2 of Milwaukee's 3 hits against Rodriguez, who's back out there after 93 pitches to start the 7th. Andrew Vaughn, the batter for the Brewers. He's got a couple of lefties behind him in Bowers and Mitchell, which is probably why Torey Lovullo ran him back out there for the 7th. They do have the right-hander Kevin Ginkel ready to go in their bullpen if A-Rod gets into trouble here before things can get sideways.
Well, I think the risk of every manager when they have a starter that's in the zone, he's grooving, whatever you want to say, the last thing you want to do is make a premature move. And then all of a sudden the offense is chomping at the bit to face the new guy.
Torey Lovullo usually likes to let guys go as deep as they can. He's talked since he's been here a decade now about getting 21 outs out of his starting pitchers. But the fact that the 2 lefties are coming up is probably what's keeping Ginkel in the bullpen, at least for the moment. 1-2. 93 pitches, 53 for strikes through for Rodriguez through 6. Bowers on deck, then it's Mitchell. 2-2 on Andrew Vaughn, who is 0 for 2. And that one will drop into right center. It's a leadoff single, just the 4th hit for Milwaukee. And let's see what Torey Lovullo has in mind here.
That's the 4th hit, but that's the 3rd time that it's been the leadoff man.
Good point. That happened in the 1st, in the 4th, and now here in the 7th. Jake Bowers, the right fielder, 0 for 2. Bowers having a terrific season. The OPS up by 100 points from last year, nearly 200 points from 2 years ago. Something going to get a pinch runner here in a 1-0. Sal Frelick will come in and take over for Vaughn at first base. Frelick not in the starting lineup with a left-hander out there for Arizona. So Frelick runs for Vaughn. He represents the tying run.
Well, you got to think Bowers comes from right field to first base. Sal Frelick will enter for Vaughn and be out in right field. Interchangeable pieces. This is what Pat Murphy's really good at.
Yeah, with limited roster spots, everybody having a deep 8-9 man bullpen, whatever it is, guys like Sal Frelick or Bowers in particular. Ildemaro Vargas, we talked about him. Versatile players like Tim Tauer, invaluable on some of these rosters.
Absolutely. And then you're matching up against the other team's bullpen. Just one lone lefty in that Diamondbacks bullpen. So probably makes a lot of sense. Andrew Vaughn, the righty, you take him out and you put in a lefty at bat, knowing that they're probably going to face a right-handed pitcher later on in the ballgame.
Frelick with good speed down there, 6 for 8 in his stolen base attempts on the year. Running for Vaughn. It's a ball and a strike on Bowers. Frelick holds for now. Bowers hits a fly ball deep to right, and this one's going to go. Jake Bowers with a home run, and Milwaukee grabs the lead.
He's having a terrific season. Jake Bauers leads the Brewers in homers, RBIs, and OPS. That's his 16th. And it's 2-1 Milwaukee.
Not sure the pinch runner mattered much on that one. A Bauer ball out to right field. He's done this 16 times. That was on pitch 102 from Rodriguez, and that's going to bring out manager Torey Lovullo.
And he's stuck with his starter to get the left-on-left matchup, and Bauers hammered it from the left side.
It was back-to-back curveballs. This one hung up just enough. Bauer's been hitting the ball hard all series. First at bat hit a liner. This one up and over the wall.
His third home run against a left-hander, and the Brewers grab the lead. Has fewer runs via the home run than the Milwaukee Brewers, but Jake Bauers' 16th of the year. Left on left has made it 2-1 Brewers. And here from the Diamondback bullpen, the right-hander Kevin Ginkel, who worked a scoreless 6th inning here against Milwaukee in the opener on Friday. Gets Garrett Mitchell to swing and miss.
Now one of those 7 relievers. Going to feature a slider, 4-seam fastball, occasional sinker.
That was just the 10th home run given up all season by Eduardo Rodriguez, and it came against a left-hand batter in Jake Bauers. Erod goes 6+, 2 runs, 5 hits. Didn't walk a batter, had 3 strikeouts. Mitchell 0 for 2. Ginkel is among a group of Diamondback right-hand relievers that the club believes can get some big outs against left-hand batters. Ginkel particularly with that down breaking ball off his fastball, which can tie up some lefties. That was it right there. Mitchell wouldn't bite its ball too.
Well, he's also part of a Diamondbacks bullpen that's been stellar the last couple of months.
It's been a very consistent relief corps back there, which ironically was the concern that a lot of folks had about this ball club going into opening day. Goes right back to that slider and gets the first out in the 7th.
That's a nasty slider. If you're able to land this to a lefty, look at him. See the fingers. It all comes down to the first 2 fingers being on top of the baseball and getting through it. Good tumble down action.
That is Ginkel's signature pitch, that slider. Veteran catcher Gary Sanchez looks at a fastball. Ginkel was a dominant force in the Diamondback bullpen when they won the National League pennant 3 years ago. He's been injured the last couple of years, but back on form this season. Sanchez smokes it down the line. It's in the corner for Gurriel. Gary rumbling into second base. It's a 1-out double, 3rd hit in the inning for the Brewers.
After being patient in most of the at bats, this one he gets that slider, probably looking for it because he laid off the fastball that was away, gets the slider, hammers it down the line. Gurriel actually played up on it, thinking if he got a good bounce, he was going to try to go to second base to get Sanchez, but the bounce didn't come far enough off the fence.
106 miles an hour off the bat of the Brewers catcher. He's at second for the third baseman David Hamilton, who's 0 for 2. Milwaukee's now out hit Arizona 6-5. They lead it 2-1. Brewers trying to keep pace with the Cubs, who've already won today, and stay 6 up atop the National League Central before a difficult road trip through St. Louis and Pittsburgh. Hamilton to right field, backs up Corbin Carroll. Sanchez at second, and he's going to chug into third. Fans, you can score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From the official jerseys and memorabilia to hats, hoodies, the whole thing. They've got your whole season covered. Just scan the QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team's gear. Shortstop Joey Ortiz now, 2 outs in the 7th. Sanchez at third. More activity in the Brewer bullpen.
Left-hander Aaron Ashby, who last pitched here Friday with a scoreless 7th inning. Ashby just about the winningest pitcher in the major leagues. That one scores through for another Milwaukee run. Ortiz shoots it into right. Sanchez jogs home, and it's 3-1 Brewers. 4 hits in the inning for Milwaukee.
Ortiz with a couple of hits in last night's ball game. This is a fastball up and in. Inside outsman on the ground to the right side. The speedy Gary Sanchez scores from third easily. That's with 2 outs. Brewers excellent this season with 2-out production.
Bryce Terang 1 for 3. Now 7 hits for the Brewers. And there goes Ortiz. Moreno with a throw. It's a beauty. And Ortiz is out of there. But the damage done on the Brew Crew side. Jake Bauers, his 16th of the year, made it 2-1 in the 7th. Milwaukee has a 3-1 lead. Back with you from Phoenix, Arizona on the Star-Spangled Sunday on Peacock. Steve Berthew, Tim Dillard, Todd Walsh here. Jake Bauers, a big home run, has given Milwaukee the lead. He takes over at first base after Sal Frelick ran for Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn replaces Bauers in right field, and here with a record of 12-1 is the left-hander Aaron Ashby. Tim Dillard, how is a reliever 12-1?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with how many games you saw right now. This is game number 42 for him. Availability. I mean, pitching in almost half the games as a bullpen guy, going multiple innings. He has been in and around all of it, and he's been rewarded with it with wins.
Well,
12 wins.
They say the best ability is availability.
Absolutely.
Now in his 5th season with the Brewers. Tommy Troy, the rookie center fielder, starts off the Arizona 7th. They've been out hit 7-5. And they're down 3-1. This is the big difference between these two clubs, as Sanchez will challenge.
The catcher is challenging the call ball.
Here's a look at the ABS, courtesy of T-Mobile. Call was a ball by Nestor Ceja, the plate umpire. Boy, that's a good eye right there.
The strike. The count is 1-2. Milwaukee has 2 challenges remaining.
So Sanchez flipped the count on Tommy Troy. Marte and Perdomo, the leadoff man, on deck behind him.
Yeah, just a speck of that baseball touching the zone.
That's all it takes. Now the difference between these two clubs, Milwaukee is 30-19 this year against teams with winning records 500 or better. The Diamondbacks are 14-32. It's a big difference. They have beaten up on Colorado and San Francisco and struggled against everyone else. But Tommy Troy gets it kick-started with a swing and bunt in the 7th. And he's aboard for the top of the order, Ketel Marte.
Well, you saw a sinker in the at-bat, a changeup, and I mean this curveball that seems to come from the ceiling all the way down. Just the tip of it, able to swing and bunt. If you can patent the swing and bunt, I mean, you're going to get a lot of knocks. But
wind up in Cooperstown.
Yeah,
do that on purpose every time. Marte singled his last time, 1 for 3. Liner to left. Churrio's there. Oh, Marte smoked that one, but right at the left fielder. 117 miles an hour off the bat of Ketel Marte.
Wow.
He can generate tremendous power from the right side of the plate.
Yeah, we're starting to see the game shift right here. The Brewers were doing this early on, maybe not at 117, but hitting the ball hard and going right at fielders. Look at him, just takes a few steps, and he's like, of course I square it up, and it's at somebody.
Smoked it. Perdomo has 2 of the Diamondbacks' 6 hits. That gets behind Bauers, and Troy will get second base here. And he's going to stop there. It rolled well up that line. And a pickoff attempt from Ashby.
Well, they're very aware that the Diamondbacks have gotten a couple of stolen bases in this one. Ashby short hops Bauers over there, caught him flat-footed. Skips up the arm, goes down, was thinking about third. Bauers able to recover a strong throw.
He won the error on Ashby on the throw. Perdomo doubled and scored in the first. He singled and stole a base in the third. 2 for 3. The switch hitter batting for the right-hand side.
which was a real strength for Perdomo last year. A very different story this year. Perdomo last season, when he was 4th in the National League MVP voting, hit over 340 from the right side of the plate. This year, 225. It's an enormous drop off. Diamondbacks 1 for 9 today with runners in scoring position. That's the ball, able to check, and Sanchez will challenge again.
The catcher is challenging the call of ball.
Mr. Seha, the plate umpire, was right.
The pitch is the ball. The count is 2-1. Milwaukee has 1 challenge remaining.
We talk about ABS, and I heard Ted Barrett the other night make this point, the veteran umpire now retired, that the ABS shows how good these umpires really are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's on the plate or off the plate, we're talking about less than inches.
That's paper thin, and the call was correct by Nestor Seha, just off the zone.
I will say this, though, for pitchers, they don't really care. They're going to get mad. They're going to be biased. That's why you see all the catchers doing the challenging, because
you guys are so emotional.
There's some pitchers out there that would be out of ABS challenges within the first couple of batters, probably.
Yeah, Torey Lovullo, the Diamondbacks manager, does not allow his pitchers to challenge, only the batter or the catcher.
I think that's the way to go. Pitchers under 40% this year success rate.
Now the 2-2. Well, the other part of that, Tim, is that the pitcher is finishing his windup and might be off balance or falling off to the side of the mound and might not have a really good view of the pitch.
Or, again, yeah, they're finishing the delivery and everything, but where it crosses the plate, a lot of times pitchers are going off the front of the plate, which now this is going in the middle of the plate.
Perdomo to left once more for Churio. They'll have to let it bounce. Tommy Troy had to stop for a moment. J.R. House stops him at third. Perdomo with his 3rd hit today. And the Diamondbacks have the tying runs aboard with 1 out in the 7th.
So after a scud missile by Marte, this is Perdomo getting one maybe off the end of the bat a little bit. Just kind of dinks it out into left field. Not deep enough for Churio to make the catch. Able to get the ball in. Holds the runners at 1st and 3rd. So it'll be 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Here comes Chris Hook with a mound visit.
Corbin Carroll will be the hitter. Now you'd think Ashby out there with 12 wins has the left-on-left matchup. Definitely advantage Milwaukee in this situation, but hold the phone. Corbin Carroll has done most of his damage this year against left-hand pitchers, which makes no sense at all. But he's hitting over 370 against lefties this year.
I think that's what pitching coach Chris Hook is talking to him about. This isn't your typical lefty. You got to approach him a little bit different. Yeah, you do a scouting report. All of these pitchers are in meetings. But when the game is happening in real time, maybe a couple days later, you really got to focus in and make sure they know the scouting report.
Corbin's double in the 1st drove in their only run so far. He's 1 for 3. Troy the runner at 3rd. Perdomo at 2nd. Corbin Carroll in the box with 1 out. Milwaukee hanging on to a 3-1 lead in the 7th. Sinker runs away. Didn't quite come back the way he'd hoped. It's ball 1.
Well, all this started with a swing and bunt and then a error on the throw by Ashby on a pick move. So instead of 1st and 2nd, you got 1st and 3rd.
And the best ball that's been hit in this inning has been the only out in this inning off the bat of Marte. Each team now with 7 hits. Right back to the sinker for Ashby. It's a ball and a strike on Corbin Carroll, who will head to the All-Star game in Philadelphia later this month for the 2nd year in a row, the 3rd time in 4. Chase Field, downtown Phoenix. Rubber game of this 3-game set. He's sticking with that sinker. You throw it 99, why wouldn't you?
Left on left sinker. I'm very surprised. I mean, Corbin Carroll able to just foul the previous pitch off at 99 inside. Incredible.
One other thing, if you're keeping track of such things in a series that's been dominated by bullpens, the Brewers right now are out of mound visits. Moreno would be next. It's 3-1 on Corbin Carroll. Diamondbacks trying to build an inning, to quote Torey Lovullo. And Ashby left on left walks Corbin Carroll. And the bases are full of Diamondbacks. Pat Murphy with Moreno coming up will go to Uribe, who's in their bullpen, the right-hander. In a big spot in this ball game. Milwaukee won the opener. Diamondbacks won here last night. This one's still very much in play. We'll take a break from Chase Field. Phoenix on this Star-Spangled Sunday on Peacock. Right-hander Abner Uribe, 75 appearances out of the Brewer bullpen last year. 35 this year. And Tim Dillard, why is Uribe the right man for Pat Murphy in this spot?
Well, not only is he high 90s into the triple digits with the fastball, great slider, but what he does is gets a lot of ground balls and a lot of double plays. 4 double plays has he induced this season. The Brewers bullpen as a whole have induced the second most double play balls in all of baseball. That's what he's hoping for here off the bat of Moreno, who has grounded into 6 himself this season,
including a big one in the opener here Friday when a lot of folks thought Torey Lovullo might have Moreno bunt. Tommy Troy's at third, Geraldo Perdomo's at second, and Corbin Carroll's at first. 1 out in the 7th, and Moreno looks at ball 1. 0 for 2 with a walk. He's got 3 hits in the series. He's knocked in a run. Well, just like Ashby, only from the right side, 99-mile-an-hour sinkers.
One thing I enjoy watching about the Brewers pitchers is you can see where he's standing on the mound. He's standing on the first base side. We saw Ashby. He was standing on the third base side. They're trying to create as much plate as possible to let all the movement work in the zone.
Diamondbacks today only 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They have left 7 runners on base. And they have a golden opportunity right here. A base hit from Moreno can tie the game. He's behind in the count, of ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Moreno's been around long enough. He knows that he cannot hit a ball on the ground. You're almost better to strike out than to hit a ball on the ground, for sure. And so he's going to do the best he can to try to lift something into the outfield.
Diamondbacks, with the bases loaded this year, have the highest OPS in the major leagues. They've hit 4 grand slams this season. Now the 1-2. And there's your double play ball. Might be hit too slowly. Moreno is safe. Throws across, and it's 3-2. Charlie Ramos at first. Says Moreno, who's had a bad hamstring lately, just did get there. Pat Murphy wants to make sure. No challenge. The run comes across.
Ortiz does a good job. Maybe could have cut down the distance a little bit more. But this comes down to Moreno. As soon as that ball's off the bat, he is going, because he knows what's at stake. Look at the expression. Oh, I made it. Got the run in.
Well, Torey Lovullo with the tying run 90 feet away. The go-ahead run at first will hit for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. against the right-hander. It's the newest Diamondback, Max Kepler, who is 2 for 18 in his first 6 games with Arizona. Signed on June the 7th. He is just coming off an 80-game PED suspension and a 10-game minor league rehab stint as permitted by the suspension guidelines.
Well, so far in this series, Max Kepler in 5 at-bats has only seen 12 pitches. He has been overly aggressive in ways that we haven't seen from most of the Diamondback lineup.
Chance here for maybe his biggest hit as a Diamondback. First and third, 2 outs, a run home. Batting for Gurriel. Perdomo at third, Moreno at first with 2 outs. Now the 0-1. Kepler was activated as soon as he was eligible, tested positive in January for a synthetic anabolic steroid, and served his 80-game suspension. And has insisted he does not know how it got into his system. Perdomo to tying run at third base. Moreno to go ahead run at first. And it's 0-2 on the former Twin in Philly, Max Kepler. Sinker at 100 as Uribe takes that pitch timer right down to the buzzer. It's 1-2.
I will say this, as a pitcher, it is really hard and difficult to just stand on the mound and hold the baseball. If you have a bullpen and you're throwing 25 pitches, I guarantee you're not sitting there holding it. So for him to do that means he is practicing this in the bullpen.
I would think, given the new circumstances with a pitch timer, that might not be a bad idea to practice that kind of thing.
Well, it throws the hitter off. The hitter has to be alert and eyes up at 9 seconds, and so he's just kind of standing there waiting because it kind of throws your rhythm off. And if you feel comfortable holding the baseball like that and can execute a pitch, use it as a weapon.
Well, Kepler dives at a 2-2 sinker and strikes out. He strands 2. Arizona gets 1 across. It's a 3-2 ball game in Phoenix. Well, Tommy Troy with a swinging bunt comes across with a second Arizona run. They trail the Brewers 3-2 here in the top of the 8th inning. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. You can learn more, including how to find a league near you. Just scan the QR code or go to playball.org. Follow @playball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. On all the socials, right-hander Taylor Clark, his 40th appearance of the year. Worked a scoreless 10th here against Milwaukee Friday night in the series opener.
Yeah, look at the walks there. Just 8 walks as we take a look at Max Kepler.
Takes over in left field after hitting for Gurriel. Here's Bryce Terang. Milwaukee a 3-2 lead. Each team has 7 hits. Taylor Clark, signed as a free agent by the Diamondbacks this winter, has been outstanding in what has been a very good bullpen. Here in a 1-year deal, signed in January. His second go-round in Arizona. Clark originally drafted by the Diamondbacks. 3rd-round pick out of College of Charleston back in 2015.
Well, it's no surprise a guy, he's not going to strike out the world, but he's not going to walk people, and gets a lot of ground balls.
Pounds the plate. Kepler near the line in left. In for Gurriel. And he's got it in foul ground. Well, Bryce Terang having an off night. He's only had 1 hit against the Diamondbacks today. Usually it's 3 or 4. Churio's had the big day, a single and a double. He's 2 for 3. He's hit safely now in 6 straight games, and 11 of his last 12, hitting just under 300 on the year. Churio suffered a broken left hand at the end of March. He missed the Brewers' first 33 games this year, and then was kind of slow getting going in May, but he has really picked up the pace, hitting .313 since June the 1st, and he's got 2 more hits tonight.
Yeah, you can see that guard over his hand to protect those fingers and wrist.
Almost hit him right in that spot. That sinker up and in. Bearing it on the right-hander.
97 miles an hour up by your chin.
That's not comfortable.
Buzzing the tower.
Might have got a whisker or 2. Churio saying, you know, my buddy Erod didn't do that to me.
Well, I think when you're in the bullpen, you're watching these guys get their hits. You think, okay, they're comfortable. And one of the things to do is move the feet. A lot of times you don't want to go up and in to move those feet, but you do want to make comfortable hitters uncomfortable.
Backed him off with that sinker up and in, then tried to drop the slider in to steal a strike, but he missed it. It's ball 3. Yelich on deck for Milwaukee. Jackson Churio got an 8-year, $82 million contract before he'd ever played a game for the Brewers. And boy, at the end of things, that's going to look like the steal of the century for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think early on people knew he was good. I don't think they were thinking 2020 guy back-to-back seasons.
What a player. And he's only 22 years old. It's unbelievable.
And he's missed some time too, and missed a month this year.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's taking it personal. Got to get my home runs. Got to get my RBIs.
As a rookie 2 years ago, he was the first player in Major League history with a 2020 season before his 21st birthday. 3-2. First base side, foul ground for Pavin Smith. Clark gets his first 2 outs in the 8th.
It's a great job by Clark getting behind 3-0 and then getting back into the at bat, and then just a pop foul for out number 2.
Ahead of Yelich, 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. What a run it's been for Yelich in Milwaukee after his first 5 seasons with the Marlins. 3-time All-Star for the Brewers. He's won 2 batting titles, a couple of Silver Sluggers, and been a league MVP in Milwaukee.
Could even argue another year that probably could have been an All-Star.
Was an MVP runner-up another year. Once more for Kepler in that corner. And Taylor Clark against the top of the Brewer lineup works a 1-2-3 8th inning. It's a 1-run game in Phoenix on this Star-Spangled Sunday. Welcome back on this Star-Spangled Sunday from Chase Field in Phoenix. Steve Berthiaume, Tim Dillard, and Todd Walsh along the way. Tim, they had an extra inning game between these two in the opener on Friday. Diamondbacks a 1-run win here last night. Now the Brewers have a 1-run lead. It's been a close series.
I feel like this game has been 2 different games. It's what we saw at the beginning with Erod and how he was performing, and then the Brewers coming on strong late. Still a lot of baseball left. I mean, the extra inning games in game 1, Brewers pulled that off. So this rubber match, I mean, this has a playoff atmosphere.
These two have a bit of a postseason history. Diamondbacks won the last postseason meeting. Pat Murphy out here to argue with Nestor Ceja, I believe, about a timer violation for Abner Uribe, who's been assessed with an automatic ball. And Murph doing some negotiating here. He wants him to check with Chris Guccione, the crew chief at third base, and Guccione waves it off. I don't think that's the answer Pat Murphy was looking for. Gary Sanchez a little puzzled as well, but the buzzer went off. Plate umpires wear a little wristband. They don't actually watch a clock. There's somebody that does that. And when there's a violation, the wristband buzzes and they signal the violation either on the pitcher or the batter. In that case, Uribe, who suddenly is throwing 1 pitch, but he's down 2-0 in the count. Ildemaro Vargas 0 for 3 leads off the Arizona 8th inning. Down 3-2, each team with 7 hits. Last thing you want with a 1-run lead in the 8th inning is to walk the leadoff batter.
Well, Uribe only a handful of times all season has been asked to do multiple innings where go into the dugout and then come back out.
Came on to get the final 2 outs after inheriting a base and loaded 1-out mess in the 7th. Here's your 3-0 strike at 99. Tawa on deck, then it's Pavin Smith. 6, 7, and 8 due up in the Diamondback 8th inning. And he does indeed walk the leadoff man. The tying run aboard for Arizona.
MLB and T-Mobile offer you a chance to win trips to all 30 stadiums. The views, the food, the vibe. Begin your journey to 30. Enter now.
Tim Tawa just brought up from AAA before the game today, 0 for 2 with a walk. Joe's bunt pulls back, takes a ball. Tawa's been back and forth for the minors last couple of years for the Diamondbacks. Very versatile plug and play type guy. Getting to start at third base this afternoon. He's put up some monster numbers in the Coast League this year with Reno, but this is not AAA.
Yeah, you and I could probably do that in Reno.
Well,
I'm kidding.
Tawa bunts at first base, maybe you. And he does the job, moves the runner along, tying run at second now.
Yeah, that's the right move. That's the right move. You're heading out to the bottom of the order. You got to get a guy in scoring position. But yeah, Reno, you know, it's a tough place to play. Maybe not so much for position players, but when a guy's hot, it's going to translate whether you're in AAA or the big leagues. Looks like Pat Murphy bolted out of the dugout.
Yeah, they're out of mound. Well, they put another mound visit on the board. Yeah, he was going to go out, didn't have any left. The scoreboard does indicate one mound visit, but we showed you the previous half inning that they're out of mound visits, so I think that prevented Murphy from getting out there. Pavin Smith has singled and struck out twice. It's 0-1. This is where the Diamondbacks have faltered offensively all season long. Today they are only 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They've left 9 runners on base in a 1-run game. Base hit here from Pavin Smith can tie it. He won't offer it the slider. Did not go, says Chris Guccione. It's a ball and a strike on the Diamondback first baseman. Might be at a spot next year where you can challenge that. They're working on the technology. Now the 1-1. Overcooked that sinker at 100.
A very live arm is Abner Uribe. Nothing he throws is going to be straight.
Paul Sewald, the closer, who's pitched in both games in this series, warming up alongside the right-hander Dre Jameson, who's been giving them some length in the bullpen. 2-1 on Pavin Smith. Vargas at second. It's 3 balls and a strike. Uribe suddenly can't find the zone. He walked the leadoff man. Is behind on Pavin Smith with Tommy Troy, the number 9 hitter, on deck.
May have swung at ball 4 there.
Yeah. 20 pitches for Uribe, only half for strikes. Jeff Bannister, the bench coach, on the left there, going over the matchups with Torey Lovello. Full count, 3-2. This is slapped foul ground. Long way to go for Hamilton. Can't quite make the sliding grab, and Pavin will live to tell the tale. Nice effort there by David Hamilton at third.
Well, number 1, this is a full count sweeper. Slider.
That was above the zone. Smith again, I think, swung at ball 4. Got under it and popped it up, but got lucky there that Hamilton ran out of room.
I almost think if David Hamilton can't catch that ball, I'm not sure anybody can. From where he was playing, all the ground that he made up, using that speed once again.
7th pitch of the at-bat to Pavin Smith. We'll keep going. All sinkers and sliders from Uribe.
Well, when you miss and get behind with that many fastballs, suddenly it's like, okay, well, I can throw a strike with my slider. That becomes your go-to pitch even in a full count.
Again, running that timer down to the buzzer. Pavin rips it right at Bryce Terang, and Vargas is doubled off. Pavin Smith hit an absolute missile right at the second baseman, 107 miles an hour, and he lines into a double play to end the threat. That's a big hang with him. Out number 2 right there, and then 3, and Milwaukee hangs on to a 3-2 lead. Diamondback first baseman Pavin Smith just hit a ball 107 miles an hour that should have tied the game. Instead, it's a double play, Tim Dillard, that ends the inning.
On 8-pitch at bat, Uribe falls behind 3-1, gets back in it with sliders. This was a sinker. Pavin Smith crushes it.
Remember, Marte in the previous inning hit a ball 117 miles an hour for an out to left field. Here's Sal Frelick, who leads off the 9th inning for Milwaukee against the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks.
Well, this is what we were talking about at break, is how hard the ball's been hit today by both clubs. Those have been most of the outs.
It's true. Dre Jameson, 7 appearances this year. Frelick came in to run for Andrew Vaughn in the 7th and remained in the game in right field. Way up high, short left center. Max Kepler's out there. And there's one out in the 9th inning. Illuminations, Minions, and Monsters is the genius and totally true story about two minions who set out to make a movie and unwittingly unleash monsters onto the world. See Minions and Monsters only in theaters now. Jake Bauers had the big home run for the Brewers. A 2-run shot in the 7th after they down 1-0. And that gave Milwaukee the lead, part of a 3-run 7th for the Brewers. For Bauers, the home run is 16th of the year.
That's when the game flipped. It was
big time.
Eduardo Rodriguez's game for the entire first 6 innings, and then it was that single and then the Bauers homer, and then immediately you could kind of feel the entire dome kind of take a woof, what just happened. But that's what Bauers has been doing all season long for the Brewers, just coming up with that big swing when they need it.
Joey Lovello left Eduardo Rodriguez in there in the 7th inning, but because he had a couple of left-on-left matchups with Bauers and Mitchell, but with Bauers it didn't matter. He hit it into the right field seats, and that was the end of Erod's day, who had pitched brilliantly through 6+.
Well, I think he'll probably get second guessed a little bit on that, but he can say my pitcher was dominant.
Yeah.
He had lefties coming up. It was the right move.
Made all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Erod at 93 pitches through 6, went back out there for the 7th. Tawa collects that one. And there's 2 outs for Dre Jameson in the 9th inning. Diamondbacks in the home half will have Tommy Troy leading off. And then the top of the lineup, Ketel Marte and Geraldo Perdomo. Here's Garrett Mitchell, 0 for 3. Pat Murphy will get Trevor McGill up. He worked a scoreless 9th inning here in the opener Friday. He'll get 9, 1, and 2 in the home half of the 9th inning. That's the changeup for Dre Jameson, a first-round pick out of Ball State. He's got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He's had a lot of injuries, but they're trying to get Jameson to polish off those secondaries, notably the slider and the changeup. He used that one to get ahead of Mitchell 0-2. And there's another changeup, a 1-2-3 ninth for Jameson. Diamondbacks down to their last 3 in a 1-run game on this Star-Spangled Sunday. Back with you from Chase Field, Steve Berthune, Tim Dillard, and Todd Walsh along the way. Rubber game of this 3-game set. The Brewers and the Diamondbacks, and Milwaukee goes to its closer. Trevor McGill, 12 for 14 in save opportunities. He gets 9, 1, and 2 with a 1-run lead in the Arizona 9th inning.
Yeah, a lot like Uribe, 2-pitch pitcher. Going to see high 90s, maybe even a triple digit. But he throws a very unique off-speed pitch, the breaking ball, the knuckle curve. It's going to come off of that 4-seam fastball at the top of the zone. But for Trevor McGill, I mean, he had a great inning in game 1, that 9th inning. Threw 12 pitches through 10 strikes. That's something he's been doing a lot lately, is throwing a lot of strikes.
Brewers bullpen has not been perfect. They are 46-3, pretty close to it when leading after 8 innings. And they take a 3-2 lead into the bottom of the 9th. The rookie center fielder Tommy Troy, who singled and scored in the 7th, starts us off in the 9th. Diamondbacks have had a flair for the dramatic this year. They have 27 comeback wins. That's tied with Atlanta for the most in the majors. Troy, Marte, and Perdomo, 9, 1, and 2 scheduled up. This is well struck to center. It backs up Garrett Mitchell, who's got room. One away, and here's Marte. Marte's last time up hit a line drive out to left for an out at 117 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah, such a smart hitter too, because that was off of Aaron Ashby, who has 4 really plus pitches. Yeah. I think he was looking for a heater early and got it.
Marte batting from the right-hand side that time. Now he goes back to the left-hand batter's box and looks at a strike from McGill. And he will challenge.
The batter is challenging the call strike.
Don't see Ketel Marte do this, I think, ever, in fact. And he was correct.
Yeah, might as well.
The count is 1-0. Arizona has 2 challenges remaining.
Well, Marte flips the count in his favor. It's ball 1. Tim Dillard, here is the stat of the day regarding the Diamondbacks. They have hit the 6 hardest hit balls in the game today. All 6 over 100 miles an hour. All 6 have been outs. This ain't fair.
We've seen both sides really make really good contact. But I promise, when the ball releases your hand and you give up a laser beam, even if a guy catches it, you're thankful. But at the same time, you're like, wait, what did I do wrong? They should not be hitting the ball that hard. So the pitchers get instant feedback as well when they're giving up hard hit baseballs.
They're not the kind they like. McGill, a couple of curveballs in this sequence for Marte. It's 2 balls and a strike. That's coming back here for strike 2. Marte leading Arizona in hits, homers, and RBIs. Perdomo's had a big day, 3 for 4. He's waiting on deck. Corbin Carroll behind him, the All-Star. 2-2 on Ketel Marte. Tough take. Sanchez will challenge.
The catcher is challenging the call of ball.
Chance to get it out here for his pitcher. Sanchez will gamble and lose.
The pitch is the ball. The count is 3-2. Milwaukee has no challenges remaining.
So the Brewers out of challenges. A full count on Ketel Marte.
Well, probably a good little gamble there by Gary Sanchez, who seems to be gambling probably more than most catchers across the league.
Did he offer? He did not, says Chris Guccione. And Marte with a base on balls. And the tying runs aboard for Arizona. And Perdomo, who's got 3 hits today.
He holds up, says, "Get away from me, bat. I need to get to first base."
Marte, who doesn't often steal bases, has been running a lot lately. In fact, he's 4 for 4. Most of these stolen bases coming on this homestand.
So last couple of games
started. Yeah. Perdomo has singled twice and doubled. 3 for 4. I don't think the Brewers didn't pay attention to Marte's base running as of late.
Well, McGill standing at 6'8", takes him a long time to unfold and throw, so he knows that stolen base could happen.
Perdomo can be among the major's most patient hitters and is an excellent 2-strike hitter. He will extend these at bats, oftentimes into double digits. Playable in left for Chourio. Foul ground, and it's in the netting, and so is Chourio. Fortunately for Perdomo, that sliced into the seats.
Didn't think it was going to carry that far out.
Yeah.
Ball just kept going and kept going.
So did Chourio. Right into the net, fortunately, to protect everybody. Ball and a strike on the Diamondbacks shortstop. Bowers holding Marte on that bag at first. This is going to be a lot easier for this time. It's Hamilton under it. And Arizona down to its final out. It's Corbin Carroll. Carroll had an RBI double in the first. Diamondbacks for the longest time through 6 innings, in fact, led 1-0. He walked his last time up.
Well, if you ask Diamondbacks, who do you want up with the game on the line in this situation? Why not your 3-time All-Star?
Tying run at first, winning run at the plate with 2 outs. Again, elevated fastballs. He continues to swing and miss at those pitches.
One thing that makes Trevor McGill hard to pick up too is if you look exactly where he's releasing the ball, it's about where his head is when he starts his delivery. You can check it out right there where his head is. That's about where the ball's coming out. A lot of pitchers don't do that. They're usually off to the side and more normal, but the way he kicks back like that, I mean, it's something you don't see every day. It makes him very effective as a closer.
An all-star closer last year, 12 saves this year. Diamondbacks down to their final strike. The pattern has been so consistent against Corbin Carroll. Fastballs at the belt or above, and oftentimes he is chasing those pitches. Foul that one off there, and it stays 0-2.
Well, the problem with that is it's just a couple of at-bats in one game where they climb the ladder and you're susceptible to it. And then here comes the next series, and they're looking at that, and they start pitching you that way, and then so on and so forth.
You're 2 and 3 weeks in, and that's what we've seen here with Corbin. Yep. They go up there again. They're just going to keep repeating. And Corbin keeps fouling him off. Nothing but fastballs in this sequence from McGill. High fly ball. It's among the rafters up there. Foul ground right side. And Frelick makes a tremendous catch. And the Brewers hang on, or did he? Miguel's not sure. And yeah, he got it. Zal Frelick with a little gamesmanship there, keeping the whole ballpark in suspense. But he made a tremendous catch up into that padding. And the Brewers take 2 of 3 here in Arizona.
I mean, he ran half a football field to get there. The jump, wears it, gets checked into the boards. Former hockey player. He's like, oh, that hurts. Oh, by the way, I caught the ball.
Yeah, he did. Great high school hockey player in Lexington, Massachusetts, Boston College, a Gold Glover out there, and he just showed why. And the Brewers come back after their extra inning win here Friday, and they take the decisive game. McGill saves it, and the Brewers hang on and win it 3-2.
Save number 13 for McGill. He's excited. Brewers 2 out of 3 win another series, but the Diamondbacks gave him a run for their money. None of these games were runaway on either side. A lot of good baseball. We saw stolen bases, saw some homers, some doubles, 2 really good scrappy clubs. Brewers come out on top.
3-2 your final. More from Phoenix on this Star-Spangled Sunday after this short break on Peacock. It's a Star-Spangled Sunday and a dramatic finish in the finale between the Diamondbacks and the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers take it 3-2 in the finale. Welcome back inside Chase Field. Steve Berthune, Tim Dillard. We'll hear from Todd Walsh in just a moment.